three different trains which have collided together, and you can imagine the magnitude of this crisis. And this entire rescue and effort is also not without any peril, because the way these coaches are positioned, the NDRF teams one of the officials was just about to get hurt, so it's very precarious in nature of this job right now. It makes it very, very difficult. The NDRF teams, the rescue teams, the police, they're trying to figure out whether or not there are any more bodies which could be inside the debris. And clearing the debris is the biggest challenge at this point in time. As you are aware, on the Southeastern Railway front, train services have been completely disrupted because of this terrible tragedy. And my camera person is trying to give you a look of what is left inside these bogies, completely mangled. I mean, the devastation, I'm just in lots of words seeing the kind of devastation that I can see here. And clearly this is one of the worst train tragedies that we have reported on. It reminds me of the Gaisal train tragedy in West Bengal, which happened in 1999. Or there was another train tragedy that happened in West Bengal. Over 100 and 200 people dead, but already the death toll here at this train tragedy is 233, and the fear, of course, is that the death toll might rise. So clearly, this is a tragedy of catastrophic proportions. I'll try and show you. Police officials.
237 people have died. This is just so terrible and heartbreaking. I can well imagine the plight of the kin of those people who've died in this horrific accident. 237 people, that's the death toll in this horrible accident that we're reporting on. Indrajit continues to be with us. Indrajit, you were just telling us about the fact that death toll could increase, and we have the latest figures of 237 with us now.
Sneha, and you know what? Sneha, we've all traveled in trains. We've all have our memories of fond memories of train journey. This is not the kind of visual that we are prepared for in a train compartment. Look what we are seeing inside this train. All these sleeper coaches, they are hanging. It's completely mangled. There is glass pieces everywhere. The window panes have been completely shattered. And in several parts, some of these coaches are completely, they have turned turtles. So if my camera person can show, Prashun, if you can zoom in and show, look at the devastation there on that side where, another coach has collided with this one. It's completely devastated. And you can imagine the kind of what went through with the passengers there. Coromandel Express, mind you, is a very, very popular train. It's a train which a lot of people take, especially from West Bengal, who want to, visit various locations in South India, especially to Chennai. A lot of people come for treatment, and I will give you the sense on another track, just adjacent to the track. This is the other track where you can see how two coaches have, rammed onto each other. I can see the engine of a coach there, and there is another one. So I'm standing here on this train. Rescue operations are almost over, it seems, but they are still trying to figure out whether or not somebody's trapped in this coach. And I will try and go down and show you. NDRF officials, railway officials, they're trying to cut into using gas cutters and entering these coaches to figure out whether or not anybody is stuck in these coaches. But look at the kind of destruction that has happened. And this is something which is unthinkable, because there are not just two trains colliding against each other. There are three trains. First there is a collision, and then there is another train which comes in and collides with the debris of the first two trains, and that has given rise to this catastrophic, disaster that is unfolding before our eyes. Look at this place, unbelievable. It's such a Herculean task for the agencies to break into these coaches and look for possible dead bodies. That's the unfortunate part. We can see belongings of passengers in this fateful train left behind: shoes, possibly a lot of people, whose belongings have been left behind. They may not be, alive anymore, and that's the tragedy of this place. I can still see, oh my God, I can still see bodies inside. Uh, I would, I would, I would just like to give a caution and a discretion to viewers, because some of the visuals that we are going to show you might be disturbing, Sneha, because as I said, this tragedy happened last evening, and it's early hours today morning, and the agencies are still trying to recover whatever that they can from these mangled areas, and there is concern that even some dead bodies might be stuck there, and that is exactly what we can show you right now. So I would once again ask that our viewers should be prepared for something which is very, very terrifying, because we can still see some bodies which are stuck inside these coaches. Terrible, terrible tragedy. This is unfathomable. I'm at loss of words to describe this situation. How are these agencies going to bring out these bodies? Look at the situation. There are officials there who are on top of this coach. This is, of course, this is clearly the goods train that we were talking about. So there is one goods train. Prasun, if you can come this side. So this is the goods train that we are talking about. And on top of that, you can see that passenger train. Goods train, and on top of that is the passenger train. And inside, unfortunately, deceased passenger, their bodies are still stuck inside. And it's going to take some time before the agencies are able to bring out all the dead bodies. What we were told by, the various agencies here in Odisha, especially, the chief secretary has gone on record to say that 900 injured are admitted in various hospitals. Hopefully, there are no injured people stuck inside. And as time passes by, the chances of, survival would dim. But what we do see, of course, is this unfolding tragedy where still there are, bodies which are lying in these mangled coaches. And it's going to be a very, very difficult task for these agencies to bring those bodies out, identify them, and hand it over to the family members of those deceased. So it's an unfolding tragedy, perhaps one of the worst train accidents that India has seen in its history. Sneha?
Absolutely. Indrajit, this is just so terrible. We've put out these pictures for our viewers, but like Indrajit said, we advise our viewers to exercise, in the sense of discretion in terms of viewing these pictures, because they're disturbing at just so many levels. There are bodies still trapped inside, and we're trying to get our viewers just up to speed with the information and not to sensationalize this terrible tragedy that has played out. 3 trains colliding and railway services have been disrupted completely. Over 900 people have been injured. And I'm going to go straight to my colleague Pramod also, who is with us from Chennai railway station right now, giving us the sense of the ripple effect of this horrific train accident in Balasore in Odisha. Pramod, what's the very latest that you can tell us at this point in time?
Certainly, Sneha. We are currently at Central Railway Station, and as usual, passengers have started to gather at this location. But what happened in the morning was that around 6:30 a.m., the passengers, especially who wanted to go to Odisha and who wanted to go to Howrah, and those people got stranded and they were standing over here. In fact, this is a help desk that has been arranged for people who are like relatives of anybody who are coming from the Coromandel coast to go ahead and get information. But this entire desk turned into a place where passengers who did not know what to do, because anybody, like most of them we could see were like migrant workers who were going back to Howrah or Odisha, and they were completely stranded, and they were trying to seek any kind of information that they could get to go back, because they don't even know when will be their next train to Odisha or Howrah. आप ओडिशा जा रहे थे क्या?
हावड़ा जा रहा है।
क्या बोला अभी यहाँ पे?
अभी बोला ट्रेन नहीं है, शाम को 7 बजे ट्रेन है। हम लोग तो काल में है स्टेशन में।
आपको पता था कि एक्सीडेंट के बारे में?
हाँ।
एक्सीडेंट के बारे में पता था?
हाँ, पता था। तो उसको पूछा अभी ट्रेन है कि नहीं, वो लोग बोला अभी नहीं है, काल में मिलेगा ट्रेन।
कब टिकट बुक किया आपने?
हम काल में टिकट ले, काल ले।
आपके साथ कितने लोग इधर?
हम लोग के साथ 7-8 आदमी।
So similarly, like there were several people who were stranded, and this is a location they are getting the information. This turned out to be, just like you mentioned, a ripple effect because of that train accident. Many also said that they have booked the tickets almost 2 months back, and they are completely worried, and they're looking for some other way, but they are not able to provide anything. And the officers, they are claiming that trains have been cancelled, and information about the next train will be given soon. भाई साहब, आप किधर जा रहे हैं?
बेंगलोर।
बंगाल। टिकट क्या कब बुक किया था आपने? टिकट टिकट कब बुक किया था?
टिकट
हाँ, कल को। अभी क्या बोल रहे थे? टिकट ट्रेन कैंसिल?
टिकट पर अभी गाड़ी पूछ रहे हैं।
So these are the passengers who are completely confused, and they are just waiting to go back. And many of them who we spoke also said that they were like waiting for nearly 2 months to go back, and now they are completely stranded here.
Pramod, I'm just going to come back to you, in fact, for more on that. Remember, there's a ripple effect, and train services have been disrupted throughout, in fact. And quickly, once again, a word from Indrajit Kundu, who continues to be with us, getting us the very latest from there. Indrajit, what are the authorities saying in terms of retrieving, recovering the bodies that still continue to be, inside many of these trains, like you did tell us? How long will this entire operation is expected to take?
Well, Sneha, by the very looks of it, as our viewers can clearly make out, this is such a complex operation. It will take some amount of time to dislodge these mangled coaches from the train track, and that's how they are. I'll show you another portion of this tragedy, and you would get a sense the way these coaches have collided, and with the impact of it, completely mangled coaches. And of course, the agencies are using gas cutters, but they have been completely destroyed, especially the ones where the impact has been the most of this collision. And therefore, it will take a long time to dismantle them. They're trying to use gas cutters to break into these coaches, because they are not trying to uplift the coaches using cranes right now. Once that operation is done, when they have been able to, or when they are actually secured that there are no bodies left inside these coaches, probably they will probably use cranes to pull these heavy bogies up and clear the track. So that's going to be the process as far as the clearance of this area is concerned. So the first process, of course, was rescue and relief. Rescue operations, I think, by the looks of it, is almost over. And some of the officials have also said this, because there is no possibility, in all probability, they are saying that there is not much possibility of anybody still staying holed up and being alive. It's being this tragedy took place at 7 o'clock last evening, so it's already been 12 hours. You can see this is the NDRF team. They have heavy equipment with them. They have generators, they have gas cutters, and these have been used to, in fact, cut into these mangled coaches to bring out people and to rescue them. And that operation is continuing. So it's happening on a war footing right now. I will ask, and even drones are being used for surveillance by the agencies there. As my camera person is trying to show right now. As far as VIP movement is concerned, Sneha, the Odisha Chief Minister, Naveen Patnaik, he is expected to come here anytime soon. There is a temporary helipad that has also been created for other VIP movements who might come. We are hearing that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is also contemplating a visit to this location, because just as I arrived at the spot of this accident early this morning, we did spot some of the security officials who are part of Mamata Banerjee's security detail. So we did have a word with them. So they have done a recce. In all probability, she might also decide to come here. There are, of course, West Bengal ministers like Minister Manas Bhuya who have also come, because, as I said, Coromandel is a very, very popular train that originates from Shalimar, Howrah. A lot of curious bystanders, locals, who actually played a very crucial role last night. When the tragedy took place, they were the first person who actually gave a helping hand in the rescue effort.
Yes.
But now what happens the very next day, of course, is is that crowd management becomes very, very important, because you want the agencies to move in.
Just coming back to you in a
approach road is
moment
very
from
narrow.
now, Odisha has declared a one-day state of mourning. That toll has risen to 237. Let's go straight to the authorities who are addressing the press now.
Treatment in government as well as private hospitals are extended to all the injured people. In the meanwhile, autopsies have started in different places, and those bodies which are identified and their kith and kin are there, they are producing their identity and also are receiving the bodies. All efforts are made to complete the autopsies early, and whichever bodies will be able to be identified, they will be either handed over to their kith or kin, or will be transported to the respective destinations. The bodies which will not, if can't be identified, then necessary statutory procedures will be followed for that autopsy and further action.
Getting all the details of this horrible train accident that we are reporting on from Balasore in Odisha. I'll try and go back to my colleague Indrajit also, who continues, in fact, to be with us. Meanwhile, we have information that Odisha has declared one-day state mourning. The death toll now stands at 237. Rescue operations are currently underway. Indrajit, if you can hear me, I want to get a sense from you. I know it might be a little too early right now, but what really happened in this horrible, horrible accident where 3 trains collided? Where have things really gone wrong here?
Well, that's the big question, and that is a question that the Indian Railways will have to answer, Sneha, because it has cost the lives of 237 people, 237 passengers who have lost their lives. And it's not clear. It is, of course, subject to investigation. We know that there will be senior railway officials who would be arriving, especially the Commissioner of Security and Safety and Security. But look at the condition of this track. The track doesn't exist anymore. It has been completely uprooted. This is something that I have never seen in my life. This is spectacular. The way this entire track has literally been uprooted, throwing this bogie offline. And I will ask my camera person to give us a long shot. So on my right is this bogie. This is the track which is completely uprooted. And on the left, look at this. This track, this bogie has completely turned turtle, and we can see the mangled remains of this line of this track, and we can see heavy machines on the other side as well, which will be used to remove them. So I guess they were used overnight to remove some of these coaches on the side, and it's anybody's guess, but given that in 2023 something of this nature can still happen despite the technological progress, at a time when we are talking about high-speed trains and Vande Bharat Express, this really is baffling, because we are talking about not just one but 3 trains colliding against each other. There is a passenger train, Yashwantpur, and the goods train colliding, and then there is the Coromandel Express colliding on the debris. How can that happen? Where did the lapse happen? Were there signaling failures? These are all questions that are arising in the minds of each and every passenger who use Indian Railways. These are answers that needs to be sought, but of course it will take quite a lot of time, because there has to be a proper and thorough investigation. For now, of course, everybody's mind is occupied with the tragedy and how people can be rescued. We are given to understand by the agencies that most people have already been rescued from the area where this tragedy has taken place. Now, the task, of course, is to bring out some of the dead bodies which are still stuck in very, very horrific conditions in these mangled coaches, and identifying them and handing them over to the families. So this is what we can see right now as far as this location is concerned. It's going to be a long, long day, Sneha. What we can see right now, it's clearly evident, because of the condition of the track, and because of the condition of the coaches that we can see here right now.
Yes, Indrajit, also, what about those who've been rescued, those who've been hospitalized? There have been many disabilities in people also that we're reporting on right now. Like, for example, reports do indicate that some people have lost a limb, some have lost their hand, their arm. What more can you tell us about those people who are grievously injured? How are they also doing at this point in time? We'll just, in fact, go back to Indrajit in a moment from now. I'm going to go straight to my colleague, Ritik Mondal.
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि जब हम शुरू में पहुंचे, लाइक हम लोग ऑल द वे फ्रॉम चांदीपुर पीएक्सी एनडीएच वहाँ से आए हैं, एंड वी आर बेसिकली हम लोग जो सिविल अथॉरिटी है उसको हम बैकअप प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. एंड एज ऑफ नाउ जितने भी इंजर्ड हुए हैं, we have been assisting them. So far we have treated around 25-30 injured persons, and main problem आ रही है कि जो ट्रेन के अंदर फंसे हुए हैं. तो our boys, we are around 80 to 90 of us, and we have been consistently working entire night कि उनको वहां से निकाला जाए, क्योंकि एक बार अंदर धस गए हैं तो जितना अंदर रहेंगे उतना ही उनके बचने के चांसेस कम होते जाते हैं. तो इतना कोशिश रह रहा है कि जितना जल्द से जल्द हो सके उनको निकाला जाए, एंड इसीलिए ये सारे अभी मौजूद हैं. और भी हमारी फोर्स आई हुई है कि जितना हो सके निकाला जाए, क्योंकि विद ईच एंड एवरी पासेज ऑफ टाइम उतना ही उनका कम होते जा रहा है. अगर जितना अंदर रहेंगे उतना ही बचने के चांसेस कम होते जाते हैं.
आई डू अप्रिशिएट योर इनिशिएटिव्स. वी कंप्लीटली अंडरस्टैंड कि इस मंजर पर आपका यहाँ पर मौजूद रहना कितना अहम हो जाता है. पूरे देश ये समझ रहा है, लेकिन हमें जरा बताइए कि आगे वाला जो 2 बॉगीज है अब तक कितना अंदाजा है, क्योंकि हम देख रहे हैं कि मिनट दर मिनट डेड बॉडीज जो है वो वहां से निकल रहा है. कितने लोग अभी भी वहां पर फंसे हो सकते हैं, अंदाजा क्या है?
अभी एग्जैक्टली लाइक मेजर चंक जितना निकलना था इट हैज वो ऑलरेडी क्लियर हो चुका है. जितने हम निकालने थे ऑलरेडी क्लियर हो चुका है. बट एज ऑफ नाउ अभी मैं एग्जैक्टली आपको एस्टिमेट तो नहीं बता सकता कि एग्जैक्ट नंबर क्या है. बट यस, आफ्टर सम टाइम, गिव अस सम टाइम, क्लियर हो जाएगा. और थोड़ा टाइम
से निकलकर कौन से अस्पताल में फौरन पहुंचा?
देखिए ऐसा है कि ऑल द नियर बाय हॉस्पिटल्स हैव बीन एक्टिवेटेड. सारे अस्पताल, चाहे प्राइवेट हो या सरकारी हो या डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल बालेश्वर हो, सबको एक्टिवेट कर दिया गया है. सारे एम्बुलेंसेस और फ्रॉम ऑल द वे एवरी हर कुछ अवेलेबल है. बट कुछ ऐसा स्पेसिफिक हॉस्पिटल तो है नहीं, क्योंकि इतने सारे इंजर्ड हैं, कोई एक हॉस्पिटल तो केटर नहीं कर पाएगा उनके लिए. तो I believe entire private hospitals, everybody has opened their gates के एडमिट किया जाए.
सर, हमने थोड़ी देर पहले देखा कि वायुसेना का एक हेलीकॉप्टर यहाँ पर हवाई गोते लगाते हुए यहाँ पर पहुंचता है. इसका कारण क्या है यहाँ पर?
I personally am not very sure, but I think probably some VVIP उनका एरिया इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं most likely. टू इंस्पेक्ट के कितना डैमेज हुआ है, पोस्ट डैमेज कंट्रोल. आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग.
ये भी बताया गया था कि कल रात से उन्हें स्टैंड बाय रखा गया था अगर किसी को एयरलिफ्ट करना पड़े.
यस एयरफोर्स वाज हमारे इट वाज पार्ट ऑफ द प्लान के ऐसे भी रखा गया है कि पॉसिबली इफ एयरफोर्स कैन कंट्रीब्यूट सर्टेनली. एंड बट एज ऑफ नाउ तो अभी चल रहा है, एज यू कैन सी. एंड व्हाट एग्जैक्टली एस्टिमेट तो विल कम टू नो आफ्टर सम टाइम ओनली.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए. तो हमने देखा कि किस तरीके से आर्मी के जो जवान हैं इस पर जुड़ चुके हैं, और ये एक अहम बात बन जाती है राहत और बचाव कार्य में. कैमरा पर्सन
getting us all of those details, and also Indrajit Kundu. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on all of those developments. This is undoubtedly one of India's worst train tragedies. 237 people have died, over 900 have been injured, many of them grievously. With that, it's time for a quick break here. We're getting you much more news in just a bit.
You are watching India Today.
There's a new club in Hollywood, the Old Dads Club. And leading the pack, a Godfather duo, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. 83-year-old star Al Pacino sent shockwaves across the globe, announcing his fourth child with 29-year-old girlfriend Noura Falla. Pacino and his girlfriend have allegedly been dating since the COVID-19 pandemic era, and this will be their first child. Just days before Pacino announced his impending fatherhood, his Godfather co-star and Hollywood legend Robert De Niro had his own surprise. 79-year-old De Niro casually announced to the world that he had become a father for the 7th time with his 45-year-old girlfriend Tiffany Chen. And the internet is abuzz with memes over the news of Al Pacino's new journey. Some are even calling it a competition between the two Hollywood icons. But clearly, 83-year-old Al Pacino has outdone his close friend Robert in the dad stakes, proving age is just a number. Bureau Report, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You are watching India Today.
More news coming in. Odisha has declared one-day state warning is what we've been given to understand. The death toll has now increased to over 237. Rescue operations continue to be underway. Railways has ordered a high-level probe into the tragedy. Indrajit continues to be with us even as the rescue work there continues. Pictures on your screen are of the rescue work that was on in this horrible, horrible tragedy that has killed 237 people. Indrajit, give us an idea about what the preliminary investigations indicate about how three trains at the end of the day collided. I mean, we're talking about a time, like you rightly said a while ago, that this is the era of high-speed trains. Technology has progressed. This is not the 1950s. And to think of a tragedy of this nature, perhaps the worst really in India's history.
स्थिति तो आप सिविल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से पूछिए। हमारे जो बंदे आए हुए थे यहाँ पे सब लगे हुए हैं कल रात से और दोनों एक साथ मिलकर ही काम कर रहे हैं। एंड द डिटेल्स अबाउट कितने क्या कैजुअलिटी हुआ आप उनसे थोड़ा लगातार लगे हुए, कल रात से लगे हुए। टीम तो सारे लगे हुए हैं अपने अपने जगह में जहाँ पे हो रखा है। अभी इनका एग्जैक्टली कहाँ पे किस जगह में लगा है वो थोड़ा आगे जाके देखना पड़ेगा आपको। लगातार है, अभी लगे थे और भी कॉलम आ रहे हैं कलकत्ता से। अभी आप लोग कहाँ की टीम है सर? अगर ओके, आपका नाम
Indrajit continues to be with us. Indrajit, I was asking you, in fact, about what the preliminary investigations show about what really happened in this case.
Well, it will only be clear once the investigation is over, and these are initial times. So the investigation is also in its very initial stage. Uh, Sneha, once the entire rescue operation is over and it's formally closed, only then one can understand that the investigation can pick up pace. At this point in time, it's clearly the priority, and the priority, of course, is to clear the debris. And everywhere, each and every corner of this location where this incident has taken place, whichever side we put the camera, we can see death and devastation. And the NDRF teams, the army teams, army medical column is also here. They're using drone. They're non-stop trying to figure out whether or not in some nook and corner of this debris there is any possibility of a life. And that's the most precious thing. I will try and move in through this debris to the other side. Pretty precarious right now. I'll ask Prasun to take care, because the way these bogies are hanging by on top of each other is very, very precarious. Uh, it's pretty hot right now. The sun is out, and the Odisha Disaster Management Authority, ODRF, and NDRF teams are working jointly along with the police, along with the army medical teams, in order to somehow clear this debris and try and find out if there is one possibility of anybody being alive. That is going to be the effort that the agencies will be making till the last bit to find out if anybody is alive. Nothing is more precious than a life. And we've already seen how this tragedy has taken catastrophic proportions. 237 passengers have died in this terrible, terrible tragedy of train collision between three trains, not one, but three trains. Unbelievable, unimaginable. And everywhere that we see these mangled coaches, the train tracks, whatever we are seeing on cam, whatever I'm seeing by myself, this is nothing short of a nightmare unfolding in front of our eyes. I will try and move to the other side, and let's see. There are a lot of curious bystanders, as it happens in any such case, and they're trying to see how the rescue operation is unfolding. In fact, now crowd management would be a challenge, because a lot of entry of a lot of VVIPs who will be coming in, officials who are coming in. So of course inquisitive people are trying to move in and see what's happening. But yesterday, when this incident first took place, the locals are the ones who actually lend a helping hand in bringing out people. So if the number of survivors, whoever has survived, credit must also be given to the locals who actually helped in the rescue effort. But if I can ask Prasun to show once again, I'm on the other side of the rail track, and from this side, look at this. The Coromandel Express bogie is on top of the goods train. And this is the impact that the collision has had. So much so, it was such a forceful impact that one bogie of the Coromandel Express, one coach of the Coromandel Express, is on top of this goods train, which was also passing by from this area. And the other bogie, of course, has fallen off here, as you can see. And the challenge, of course, is that there are still possibly some bodies which are still stuck inside, and how one can bring them out is the big challenge. You can see here all the various parts of the train, of the bogie, of the coach, completely mangled, and huge crowd. There are JCBs that have been brought in. There are cranes that have been brought in. People, of course, are trying to get a sneak peek into the activity right now. I can see camps that have been put in place here for the administration and the officials to coordinate that entire rescue effort. However, as I said, today, and it's generally the case, Sneha, every time there is a tragedy, the next morning is when the main challenge unfolds for the administration, because you have to cordon off that entire area. And mind you, this is not a small area. This is a huge area, or very close to the railway station. They have to cordon off this entire area, see that these people do not hamper the rescue effort. The more there is a delay, the less there is a chance of a person surviving. and that should be kept in mind. So people should be given this message that they should not hamper the operation here. But the operation, of course, is going on a war footing. We'll try and move to the other side of this debris and see if we can spot something that one can report on. But clearly, what we are seeing right now, it clearly breaks our heart. One can never imagine, in the worst of nightmare, to be seeing this, leave alone covering something like this live on television. We've all had, as I said, fond memories of train journey. Railways play such a crucial role in the life of Indians. It's literally the lifeline of India. We've all had fond memories of train journey, and as I said, it's 2023. Despite so much of technological progress, one just cannot fathom how a tragedy of this catastrophic proportion can take place despite the technological advancement at a time when we are talking about trains like Vande Bharat, where such a collision between 3 trains have taken place, which has led to the loss of life of 237 passengers. Sneha.
Very disturbing pictures coming in. Indrajit, we are reporting on this terrible train tragedy. 3 trains have collided, and that's how the death toll has been just so high at 237. What's the word really, if at all, Indrajit, from the Railway Ministry? We've seen tributes poured in, the government extending help in terms of support to the kin of those who've died. And we'll also, in fact, come back to you for more on that, as to what the Railway Ministry essentially is saying. We're going to now go across to this report that Ritik has, in fact, sent us. Let's take a look.
जरा देखिए कि किस तरीके से ये हादसे के कारण ये जो ट्रेन है, ये जो बोगी है, वो बिल्कुल यहाँ से रेलवे पटरी से उखड़कर दूसरी तरफ रास्ते के तरफ चला गया है। और यहाँ पर का जो सिचुएशन है बहुत ही खराब है। मैं मेरे कैमरा सहयोगी को थोड़ा हेल्प करूंगा, शायद आप हमारे साथ बने रहेंगे, आप समझ सकते होंगे किस तरीके की स्थिति है, क्योंकि ये अंदर का जो नजारा है बेहद दुखदेह है। एक तरफ ये पेंट्री कार है कोरोमंडल एक्सप्रेस का, उस दूसरी तरफ आप देख सकते हैं आगे वाला जो बॉगी है बिल्कुल वो तहस तहस हो चुका है। एनडीआरएफ की जो टीम है वो अपने जो साजो सामान लिए हुए यहाँ पर पहुंच चुके हैं। आगे वाला जो हिस्सा बहुत खराब है। अब थोड़ा अंदर लिए जाएंगे। जिस कोच के जरिए, जिस पेंट्री कार के जरिए इस ट्रेन में सफर हजारों के ज्यादा लोगों को खाना मुहैया करवाया जा रहा था, उसका हालत किस तरीके से है आइए दिखाते हैं। यहाँ पर जो खाने के लिए रखा गया चीज वो बिल्कुल बिखरा पड़ा है, पानी का बोतल बिखरा पड़ा है। और ये आप देख सकते हैं कि पास का बिल्कुल ये जो ये भी एक ऐसी कोच है। हम जानते हैं पेंट्री कार में इस तरीके की सुविधा रहती है कि कांच से बना हुआ शीशे का बना हुआ खिड़की रहता है, वो तोड़कर लोगों को निकाला गया। और आगे जाकर ये दरअसल जो पेंट्री कार है उसका सिचुएशन है, जरा देख लीजिए। हम बखूबी समझ रहे हैं कि इसमें सवार लोगों की क्या हालत हुई होगी। जहाँ पर जो चीजें हैं वो बिल्कुल बिखरा पड़ा है। अमूमन इस तरीके से एक पेंट्री कार सफररत ट्रेन का ऐसा नहीं होता है, लेकिन हम देख सकते हैं चारों तरफ कांच बिखरी पड़ी हुई है। यहाँ पर जो कुकिंग प्रोसीडियर वो चल रहा था वो बिल्कुल उस तरीके से चल रहा है, क्योंकि हम देख रहे हैं वहां से जो पानी जो नल से आ रहा था वो बूंद बूंद अभी भी गिर रहे हैं। यानी ये बयां कर रहा है कि ये ट्रेन अपने मंजिल की तरफ बढ़ रहा था और अचानक हुई इस हादसे में लोग एक तरीके से बौखला गए। लोग एक तरीके से बेहद जो है बहुत ही आश्चर्यचकित हो गए थे। और इसी के कारण शायद किसी भी तरीके से उन्होंने ये जो शीशे है, ज्यादातर शीशे पेंट्री कार के, उसे तोड़ा गया है और या तो तोड़ने की कोशिश की गई है। उसके जरिए वो लोग शायद छलांग लगाकर बाहर निकलने की कोशिश किए होंगे।
I think putting out those pictures, just showing us what remains of the pantry car, essentially, in which food was kept, bottles of water there. Indrajit, it's just so heartbreaking to look at these pictures that you all have been sending us. And just speaking volumes of the magnitude of this tragedy, you also, 237 people, this isn't just a number. These are people who've died, absolutely, who had no idea about what really was to come. With 3 trains colliding, that has led to such a massive toll. We've seen, in fact, in the last few years also several train tragedies, but in recent years and in India's history, this possibly is one of the worst, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. You know, as you just said, even as we bring this live broadcast to our viewers, I could see the agencies have pulled out 2 dead bodies already. And while we were in a different coach, which is in a very, very bad condition, we could see at least 1 dead body still stuck inside. And these are terrible times, as I said. This is something that none of us could have even imagined in our worst nightmare, leave alone, doing a live broadcast on. So clearly, this is unthinkable, a catastrophic tragedy that has struck Odisha. And of course, we know that the Chief Minister is on his way. He will be coming here. And today, Sneha, a state mourning has been announced by Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik. There is also a possibility that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee may also come and visit this place because, mind you, a lot of people from West Bengal prefer the Coromandel Express to travel to Chennai, possibly for treatment. So there are helpline numbers that have been opened on West Bengal side as well. And assistance have been sent in from West Bengal because from Kolkata, it's about 6 hours journey to Balasore. From Bhubaneswar, it's about 4.5 hours. So it's located right in between Bhubaneswar and Kolkata. And as you know, West Bengal shares this long historic relation with Odisha. Tens and thousands of people travel to Puri in Odisha to offer their prayers to Lord Jagannath. Majority of them, Bengali pilgrims from West Bengal, even they prefer the Coromandel Express. So this is something, when this news broke yesterday, there was complete sensation in Kolkata because everybody in Bengal has traveled on the Coromandel Express sometime or the other. Sneha.
Absolutely. Everybody has traveled at some point in the other. This very popular stretch, essentially, and we've seen railway services get completely disrupted along these lines as well. Indrajit, if you could also give us a sense of how the services have been disrupted and what's the word really from the Railway Ministry? Okay, we'll in fact just connect with Indrajit Kundu in a moment from now. He's at the site at Balasore in Odisha, where that horrible train accident took place at about 7 p.m. last evening. Bodies continue to be retrieved, is what we've been given to understand. The official figures from the authorities now stand at 237, but there could be an increase as well. Further is what we know, given that the rescue work is underway. And Rajit by himself was telling us that he can still see bodies that are yet to be retrieved. Railways, meanwhile, has ordered a high-level probe into this tragedy. Over 900 people have been injured, many of them grievously. 240 people have died. That's the update that we have at this as far as the death toll is concerned. 240 people have died in that horrible train tragedy that India has seen, perhaps one amongst the worst in India's history. This is the Indian Railways, the lifeline of the country, witnessing a tragedy of this magnitude where 3 trains collided. And that's the reason why the death toll is as high as 240. A series of reactions coming in from the medical team officers of the Indian Army who are, in fact, helping in the rescue work right now. Let's go straight to that.
लोग जो सिविल अथॉरिटी है उसको हम बैकअप प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं एंड एज ऑफ नाउ जितने भी इंजर्ड हुए हैं we have been assisting them. So far we have treated around 25-30 injured persons and main problem आ रही है कि जो ट्रेन के अंदर फंसे हुए हैं तो our boys, we are around 80 to 90 of us and we have been consistently working entire night कि उनको वहां से निकाला जाए क्योंकि एक बार अंदर धंस गए हैं तो जितना अंदर रहेंगे उतना ही उनके बचने के चांसेस कम होते जाते हैं.
240 people are dead in the tragedy. Over 900 people have been injured. Many of them are grievously injured. A high-level probe has been ordered by the Indian Railways into this horrible accident that took place at 7 p.m. in Balasore in Odisha last evening. This is the Coromandel Express, and we're getting in all the details live right now. Over 240 people dead, 900 people have been injured. Nearly 240 people have died is what we've been given to understand through authorities, and they're expecting the death toll to perhaps even go up further. Pictures, in fact, right now on your screen are live of the railway minister at the accident spot as we speak. Authorities, in fact, have been at the spot, and these are pictures of the railway minister at the accident site in Balasore, taking stock of the situation and assessing the situation as we speak. A high-level probe has already been ordered by the Railways Ministry, by the Government of India, even as Ashwani Vaishnav right now, the minister in question, is at the accident site assessing the situation and taking stock of the situation. Indrajit is back with us, getting us the very latest, even as we stay with these pictures of the railway minister who's taking stock of the situation right now. Financial help extended to the kin of the deceased there and also to the accident victims, Indrajit. But the railways and the Indian government has some serious answering to do about what really happened here. Indrajit.
Well, clearly, Sneha, the government will have a lot of answering to do on this. Clearly, as to how such a tragedy could unfold despite such technological advancement at a time when we are running trains, high-speed trains like Vande Bharat, and this is clear to also have some bearing on the confidence of. This is also supposed to have some bearing on the confidence of passengers, because if such a terrible tragedy unfolds, how are people going to have that confidence to travel in the train safely? We can see there are people coming in there. I think ministers and other dignitaries are slowly making way. Idhar se jana hai. And we'll try, Sneha, just bear with us. We'll try and go to the other side. Because the way the debris, the mangled debris is lying around, it's quite difficult.
Indrajit, in fact, I'll come back to you in a moment from now. Be with us. Indrajit, in fact, is reporting from ground zero, and it's a very difficult situation given that the debris, in fact, of the three trains really all over the place, like Indrajit has been telling us. But right now we're getting in pictures of the railway minister who is at the spot taking stock of the situation. He is the Minister of Railways and has announced already extra share compensation to the victims of the terrible train tragedy, that accident that took place at 7 p.m. last evening. We have pictures of Ashwani Vaishnav right now on your screens, who's taking stock of the situation. 10 lakh in case of death and 2 lakh towards grievous. Also 50,000 for minor injuries is what really has been announced by the Railway Ministry. The railway minister at the site right now, even as the rescue work continues. I'll try and go back to Indrajit, if at all Indrajit can hear me, in a moment from now. But we're getting you all the details of the death toll rising to 237. That's the exact figure. Even as we see it inching towards 240 is the assessment from ground zero. Given that Indrajit himself, a reporter on the ground, was telling us that he can still see bodies around him. Bodies are yet to be retrieved. And of course, there are 900 people and more who are in fact in hospitals right now. That's a rough estimate, given that this was not one, not two, but 3 trains colliding. And that's the reason why the death toll and the number of injured is also astonishingly high. Terrible tragedy that we're reporting on from the Indian Railways. Undoubtedly, some serious answering on the part of the Railway Ministry and the Government of India as to what really happened there. How was it that 3 trains collided? One train, in fact, was in an accident, and the others went and collided against it. what really went wrong in the systems there, given the kind of technological advances that the Indian Railways has made over the decades in the era of high-speed trains and in the era of the Vande Bharat Express that the government of India takes just so much pride in. What about safety? Where was the safety or compromise of just so many people who've died in this horrible tragedy that we're reporting on? Pictures of the trains completely mangled and also the railway tracks that have been completely destroyed, obviously leading to a situation where railway services have been disrupted. We'll try and get a sense of that also from our reporters on the ground who are covering this tragedy. Right now, Indian Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav is on the spot taking stock of the situation. Rescue work is underway right now, is what we know. In fact, the bodies are still getting retrieved. 237, that's the exact figure that we have, in fact, with us, even as we're getting you details of the railway minister taking stock of the situation. With that, it's time for a quick commercial break here. Our continuous coverage on that story in just a minute.
You are watching India Today.
The funding winter is taking a heavy toll on Indian startups. Sakshi?
Well, that's right. It's another day, another write down, and valuation cuts continue to plague unicorn startups in India. Now, we've seen in the recent weeks that many marquee investors have been slashing valuations of a number of new age technology companies, including Byju's, Ola, and even Swiggy. In fact, it's Byju's which has faced a reduction in valuations by BlackRock, the global leader in asset management, for the second time this year. In fact, BlackRock, which owns less than 1% in Byju's, has now valued the firm at $8.2 billion US dollars. That is 62.7% lower than the $22 billion US dollars valuation that the company was ascribed to in October of 2022. Now, this markdown comes right after February, when BlackRock had slashed the valuation of Byju's to about $11 billion. Now, apart from this, US-based investor Fidelity Investments has also cut the fair value of its holding in e-commerce firm Meesho by around 10% to around $4.4 billion. Now, it had originally led a Series F round in the startup at a valuation of $4.9 billion. Now, remember that valuation is a mix of fundamentals, potential, and market sentiment, and the current market sentiment is driven by high interest rates and has increased the cost of capital and has also forced startups to focus more on profitability rather than growth. Now, in the absence of profits and the external validations of valuations through funding rounds, accounting standards and investor risk frameworks definitely demand markdowns of valuations. Experts, however, believe that although markdowns do not directly impact the companies, they may still have unfavorable implications for the future funding rounds of these companies and even the IPO plans of these firms going forward.
See, all these reports in the public, I would probably label them as speculation, right? If and when we file a DRHP or have a plan, right, firstly, we'll share it with the regulatory authorities and obviously the media and then all our stakeholders.
So as of now, there are no IPO plans. You're not confirming, not in.
Yeah, I don't think these are things that we can even discuss on the public because the right process there is, even if you have, if you come there and if you have a plan, it's first regulatory, right? Then comes the public discussions.
Bhavesh also tweeted regarding that cell gigafactory manufacturing of lithium-ion cells, company now focusing towards small commercial vehicles. Give us a outline of the whole development.
See, the part of the cell gigafactory that is public is the fact that we have won a 20 gigawatt hour PLI ACC scheme, right? So that part is absolutely public, and it is our responsibility to keep updating the government from time to time on the progress. In fact, we have fortnightly meetings with the government to update them on the progress, because this is a very, in the government's words, this is a very important project for the country, because it's a high-tech cell manufacturing area globally. And, India has all the ingredients to break the monopoly that China has today. 90% of cell manufacture in the world is in China, right? But China does not have any lithium, right? It is just the intelligent capex and technology that they've invested in. And India wants to become a global hub of cell manufacture, just like the other 13 or 14 sectors, high-tech sectors where government has announced PLIs. So the government is picking and choosing which area to play in and create an impact at the world stage. So our cell factory has started, and we are on track with the timelines that we're committed to the government of India. And hence we have sort of reported the progress also, both in the private and the public domain. As you saw, we are done with our foundations. We will come live sometime in November. We have committed to the government that the first gigawatt hour will be commissioned before the end of this calendar year. If you look at the discoveries of lithium that are happening, by the way, lithium is in plenty in the world actually. It's not a scarce mineral. It is just that we have not explored it enough, simply because there were no EV vehicles earlier. So if you look at India itself, two great discoveries have been announced in Rajasthan and Jammu Kashmir. And we believe the state governments will come into a public tendering process soon. And obviously, any EV company that is setting up a gigafactory will be interested in the tendering process.
The popular imagery associated with tuberculosis.
You are watching India Today.
मैक्सिमम इस तरह की बड़ी ट्रेजेडी में जितना एफर्ट लगाया जाए उतना कम होता है। उन सभी परिवारों के साथ मेरी प्रार्थना है जिनके परिवार का मेंबर इस ट्रेजेडी में चले गए, और सभी जहां पर भी बेस्ट पॉसिबल हेल्थ केयर फैसिलिटी होगी, चाहे कटक में, भुवनेश्वर में, एम्स में, इधर कलकत्ता में, कहीं पर भी जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल हेल्थ फैसिलिटी होगी वो दी जाएगी। कंपनसेशन का अमाउंट कल रात में रेलवे की तरफ से डिक्लेयर हो गया था। एक हाई लेवल कमेटी भी ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर हो गई है जो कि इस पूरे एक्सीडेंट में इंक्वायरी करेगी। कमिश्नर रेल सेफ्टी को भी बुलाया गया है, वो भी इंक्वायरी करेंगे और इस प्रॉब्लम के, इस एक्सीडेंट के रूट कॉज में जाएंगे। किस कारण से ये प्रॉब्लम हुई वो पूरा का पूरा टेक्निकल से और किस भी कारण से हुई हो वो समझा जाएगा।
सर, क्या कोई इंडिकेशन अभी तक किस कारण से हो सकता है?
अभी सारा का सारा फोकस रेस्क्यू पे है और कंप्लीट फोकस है जिस तरह से जिनके भी गहरी चोटें आई हैं उनको ठीक जगह पे पहुंचा के उनका इलाज कराया जाए और परिजनों के पास ठीक खबर पहुंचे। सारा फोकस उस चीज पे है।
सर, आपको क्या लगता है भारतीय रेल के इतिहास में होने वाला सबसे बड़ा हादसे में ये अभी तक क्या है आपके आंकड़े से?
देखो, ये जिस तरह की घटना है, ये जिस तरह की दुर्घटना है, उस दुर्घटना में सबसे पहले हमारा फोकस रहना चाहिए मानवीय संवेदना। किस तरह से जिन परिवारों के मेंबर चले गए, पहले उनके पास ठीक तरीके से पहुंचे। जो व्यक्ति आज घायल हुए हैं उन घायलों का इलाज हो, सबसे पहले वो फोकस रहना चाहिए।
राजनीति बहुत हो रही है, विपक्ष आपका इस्तीफे की मांग कर रहे हैं, क्या कहना चाहेंगे उन्हें?
मैं यही कहूंगा कि अभी सबसे पहला फोकस रखें रेस्क्यू पे और रिलीफ पे।
सर एक अहम सवाल, कब तक ये रूट जो है फिर से ठीक हो जाएगा?
तुरंत रेस्टोरेशन का काम तुरंत चालू होगा। जैसे ही कंप्लीट डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से क्लियरेंस मिलता है, तुरंत रेस्टोरेशन का काम चालू होगा। ऑलरेडी जितनी भी रेस्टोरेशन के लिए मशीनें हैं वो डिप्लॉय करके सोरो में खड़ी है। अभी ऑलरेडी मैं रास्ते में देख के आया हूँ।
क्या पहले डिरेलमेंट हुई उसके बाद टक्कर हुआ? क्या पहले
इंक्वायरी के बाद में ही सब कुछ पता चलेगा। अभी नहीं कहा जा सकता, इंक्वायरी के बाद में ही पता चलेगा।
डेथ टोल के बारे में जरा जानकारी दे दीजिए।
डेथ टोल डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और रेलवे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से कंटिन्यूसली आपको अपडेट किया जा रहा है, उसी नंबर को आप लेके चले। अभी कुछ भी कहना उचित नहीं है, इंक्वायरी होने दीजिए और सारा फोकस रेस्क्यू और जो घायल हुए हैं उनके इलाज पे फोकस करें सारा।
सर आपने क्या देखा, अभी भी कितने लोग फंसे हो सकते हैं, जानकारी आपको अधिकारियों ने क्या दी?
सब सारा का सारा फोकस मैंने कहा जैसे आपसे, रेस्क्यू और इलाज पे ध्यान दिया जाए, रेस्टोरेशन पे ध्यान देना। मैंने कहा पूरी जानकारी, पूरी इंक्वायरी की जाएगी, कंप्लीट इंक्वायरी की जाएगी डिटेल्ड में। हाई लेवल इंक्वायरी कमेटी ऑलरेडी रात में घोषित कर दी गई थी। कमिश्नर रेल सेफ्टी वो भी इंडिपेंडेंट इंक्वायरी करेंगे, तो कंप्लीट इंक्वायरी की जाएगी।
Vijit continues, in fact, to be with us, getting us the very latest. 237 people have died in the tragedy. Over 900 people have been injured, is what we've been given to understand. In Vijit, of course, the questions being answered about the restoration work, but undoubtedly, it really is going to be a Herculean task to remain the debris, to then get an assessment of the situation before the restoration work is actually started, isn't it? I was asking you about the restoration work that undoubtedly is going to be a Herculean task. First of all, the idea is to clear the debris and
Sneha, we now have Bengal BJP MPs delegation who have now reached here. Sir, what you are seeing right now, जो आप देख रहे हैं, जिस तरह का सिचुएशन तो जिस तरह का एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, सब स्पेशली पश्चिम बंगाल में तृणमूल कांग्रेस ये पूछ रही है कि आप वंदे भारत चला रही है, 2023 है, टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट इतना हुआ है, फिर भी 3 ट्रेन कैसे ऐसे कोलाइड कर सकती है?
देखिए, पहले तो मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि जो अभी परिस्थिति है, ये समय नहीं है पॉलिटिक्स करने का। तो मुझे लगता है इट इज नॉट द राइट time to raise this kind of questions, and we should concentrate on the rescue operation. After that, everything will be investigated, and railway department is equipped enough to investigate all these things, and in future we will take care of this kind of things. So we will take care of any loopholes if there is any loophole.
Are you satisfied with the kind of response that the Bengal government has given? Because Coromandel Express, as you are aware, is very, very popular in Bengal. A lot of people travel from Bengal to south using Coromandel Express. They even come to Odisha. So the kind of arrangements that the Bengal government has made, are you satisfied?
So Bengal government is till now, they have sent one team of 31 doctors, mostly from the Mednipur Medical College. Few ambulances, and mostly the doctors are the junior doctors. Few senior doctors are there. Even they have sent ENT. I don't know whether in this condition ENT is necessary or not. So till now they are doing their job, but they are trying to politicize it. I think it is not the right time to politicize this kind of incident. Central government, especially the railway department, is taking care of all these things, and we also thank the Naveen Patnaik ji. His government has done an excellent job.
You're saying that they are trying to take advantage of a terrible tragedy.
Obviously, they are trying. It is not right time or appropriate time for that kind of political issue.
I said, had Mamata Banerjee been the rail minister, this wouldn't have happened.
So it is a what kind of comment should I say in the under this kind of circumstances? This is just they are trying to praise Mamata Banerjee for their political vendetta and political future endeavor.
Thank you so much. Shukanta Majumdar, West Bengal BJP president. So, politics heating up on this terrible tragedy as well. Of course, Shukanta saying that this is not the time to indulge in politics. Nonetheless, just in West Bengal, Sneha, we've seen politics beginning to play out with the Trinamool Congress MP Shogata Roy saying demanding and even Abhishek Banerjee demanding the immediate resignation of Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav over this terrible tragedy which has resulted in the death of 237 passengers. Sneha.
Undoubtedly, but that also is not just a political demand. Questions are being raised about what really happened here. Given that Indrajit, the Indian Railways, especially under the BJP government right now, has been focusing a lot on improving the infrastructure, railway lines, and also introducing new trains, Vande Bharat Express, for example, on also laying a lot of stress on improving technology. What really went wrong here is the big question that the Railways has to answer.
Well, absolutely. That is a big question that the railways will have to answer. In fact, some tough, answering on part of the railway minister Ashwini Vaishnav, over this train tragedy. Because remember, as I said, politics already playing out. The opposition is not going to. Okay, we'll just shift from this side because I guess there is a train which will move. As I said, the location is very precarious right now, given that these wires, if my camera person can show, they are being repaired and they are being brought down because a lot of these electrical wiring system has completely been ruined. And as the railways try to fix this, the situation can be very precarious. We just saw some of the officials, one of the officials, in fact, got injured in the process. So it will take a long time. This is a precarious relief and rescue mission that the Indian Railways, the ADRF, the ODRF have all begun, and the Army medical team is also here assisting the Odisha administration in this entire effort, and it will take a long time. It's not going to be that easy. Perhaps it'll take a few days, but since last night, I can tell you one thing: the disaster management preparedness of the Odisha government is very strong, and it's praiseworthy in a sense that Odisha generally braces for cyclones each and every year. And that's why, its preparedness is always very alert system. And therefore, when this incident took place, the response from the ODRF teams was very swift. And that has resulted in, maximum amount of lives being saved. If there are 900 injured people, you can imagine that the agencies have been able to save 900 lives, and that's something which is very precious. Each and every life is precious. However, unfortunately, there have been 237 deaths so far, which is the big tragedy that has been unfolding before our eyes since yesterday evening. And as I said, one big challenge for the entire administration would of course be crowd management, because hundreds of people from the adjoining areas are coming to the location to see how the rescue operation is unfolding. Yesterday, of course, they are the ones who actually helped rescue a lot of people. Initially, they were the first movers, the first response. But today, as it happens in case of such tragedies, the very next morning becomes very crucial. And unless there is proper crowd management, it becomes extremely difficult for the authorities to clear the debris, and that is exactly what we are seeing. There is non-stop movement of VIPs. We just saw the West Bengal BJP delegation coming in, led by State BJP President Shukanta Majumdar and Jyotirmay Singh Mahato. There is also a delegation of the ruling Trinamool Congress from West Bengal. Dr. Manas Bhuiyan, Minister, is already here overseeing operations, because as you know, a lot of passengers from Bengal travel by the Coromandel Express to move to the south. Shortly from now, we are awaiting the presence of Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik and of course Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Sneha.
Be with us. In fact, Indrajit is getting us all of those details from ground zero, where it's extremely tough to report on this, given that the debris remains and bodies are still getting retrieved, as they put out those pictures of the railway minister who's from ground zero. I have some information with me on short termination of railway services, about 10 of them, diversions about 39 of them, and also 48 trains have been cancelled, is what we know. We're putting out now this report that has been sent by my colleague Ritik Mondal earlier.
हम देख सकते हैं जितने भी यहाँ पर इस कोच के अंदर जो चीजें हैं रेलवे की तरफ से दी गई, जो पिलोज और जो चीजें हैं वो बिखरी पड़ी हुई है। आगे हम बढ़ेंगे तो देखेंगे और एक दूसरा कोच, ये एसी कोच है, कंपार्टमेंट जो बिल्कुल तहस नहस हो चुका है। थोड़ा बचते बचाते आइएगा सैम, और हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। अभी भी एनडीआरएफ के जवान जो है वो यहाँ पर पहुंच रहे, और इन सब बोगियों के जरिए वो अंदर जाकर तलाश कर रहे हैं कि कोई फंसा तो नहीं है, क्योंकि आगे वाला जो कमरा है बिल्कुल बिखर चुका है। वैसे ही एक कमरे के अंदर से हम जा रहे हैं जहाँ पर रेलवे सुरक्षा का जो पुलिस है वो भी तैनात है। जरा देखिए यहाँ पर जो चीजें हम देख सकते हैं बिल्कुल बिखरी पड़ी हुई। जरा देख लीजिए, शाम का वक्त था, नाश्ता चल रहा था, और उस बाद ये हादसा हो गया। उसका जो निशान स्पष्ट देखा जा सकता है। अब इससे आगे जाना थोड़ा बेहद मुश्किल है हमारे लिए, क्योंकि इसके आगे वाला जो बोगी है, जो डिब्बा है, वो बिल्कुल इस तरफ हिल चुका है। जरा समझिए, इस ट्रेन के अंदर अगर हम जाने की कोशिश करें तो ये हम समझ सकते हैं ये बहुत ही मुश्किल भरी बात होगी, लेकिन देखकर तो लग रहा है कि इस ट्रेन से जो सवारी थे वो बच निकले थे, लेकिन ये बहुत ही मुश्किल भरा एक चीज है। और ये हमने जितने लोगों से बात की, खासकर मैं जब यहाँ पर पहुंचा तो कल रात जो इस ट्रेन के पीछे वाले हिस्से में जो रेलवे के स्टाफ थे, उन्होंने हमें बताया कि कितना भीषण यहाँ पर इतना भीषण एक आवाज हुआ। उसके बाद जो है उन्होंने देखा कि लोग किस तरीके से तितर बितर होकर बाहर कूदने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, कितने लोगों को उन्हें घायल अवस्था में निकाला और कितने लोगों को यहाँ पर फंसे होते उन्हें निकाला, और कई सारे लोगों की मौत उनके सामने हुई, क्योंकि वो पीछे वाले जो बॉगीज है उसमें सफर कर रहे थे, तो उससे वो बच निकले।
Indrajit continues to be with us. Indrajit, if you could also give us an idea about the number of injured in this case, how many of them are grievously injured, how are they doing at this point in time?
Well, 900 people have been rescued who are injured and admitted in various hospitals in Odisha and in around, this station. This is Balasore district, of course, and there are n number of ambulances that have been put in place to ferry those who are injured, and if at all there is any possibility of further people being stuck inside and alive. However, the NDRF teams and the rescue teams are continuously miking and saying that as time passes by, the possibility of survival becomes less, and that's the sad part of this entire tragedy. So they're literally working on war footing. There is no time left. Every minute is precious, because the more they lose time, look at the pace at which they're trying to move in. Look, they're trying to move in. Look at this precarious situation. Barely a feet of gap between, barely a feet or two of gap between these two bogies, and look at this army team moving in without any fear, with a sense of purpose and duty, just to figure out whether they can. Let me see if I can move in. Prashun, I'll just try and see if I can move in along with the army team. It's very, very precarious. Wait, be careful. Yes, so this is how, teams, because a lot of places are blocked, a lot of areas are blocked due to these mangled coaches. And you can see, the army teams, the NDRF teams together, they are trying to, I think I can spot the minister there. Sneha, I'll try and reach out to him. Rail Minister. Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav at the spot. I will ask my camera person Sneha to show the visuals. These are live visuals coming in. live visuals of Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav walking on the track, or walking on the fateful track. This is the fateful track on which the Coromandel Express, the Yashwantpur train and the goods train collided. And the Rail Minister, Union Rail Minister, now here in Balasore, taking stock of the situation firsthand and trying to understand what perhaps went wrong. So these are live and exclusive visuals of the Rail Minister finally reaching. Ashwini Vaishnav flew down from New Delhi overnight, and now he's trying to get a sense on what exactly went wrong, how the rescue operation is taking place right now.
Pictures from ground zero right now, where the railway minister is at the accident site. That's Ashnavi Vaishnav, in fact, who is taking stock of the situation. Let's go straight back to Indrajit Kundu, who continues to be with us for the very latest. Indrajit.
So you can see railway minister there moving in towards the, I can say, Ashwini ji. The minister, of course, is here trying to take stock of the situation. And of course, he's moving towards that very area, Sneha, where the mangled bogies are lying. It's a very precarious area. Of course, it's also a security nightmare for the security guards who are trying to protect the minister. And the minister, of course, asking us to stay away. Of course, given the situation, the media, I don't think, can move past beyond this area, because this area is completely blocked because of this precarious condition of the Be careful. So there's this blockade through which the rail minister will try and move in. Watch. Sneha, this is the same location through which I came through just a short while back on this live broadcast. In between two coaches, the engine and one of the bogies of the two trains, and it's formed a small little hole through which the rail minister is now passing through by himself to go to the other side of the location of the accident site. And the media, of course, has now been stopped. So Neha, Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav finally at the spot, trying to figure out what went wrong. Clearly under pressure, 237 people have died. Questions are being raised on the safety and security of the Indian Railways. And this is also about passenger confidence, given the kind of tragedy that has unfolded yesterday. And the rail minister has just reached the location. Of course, he is not. He didn't want to take questions right now. We'll have to wait till his entire visit ends, and whether he briefs the media as to what he saw and what he thinks went wrong and how things should be taken forward. But right now, Ashwini Vaishnav taking stock of the situation at the accident site in Balasore, where 3 trains collided in this mega catastrophe that has taken place, resulting in the deaths of 237 people till now and counting. Sneha.
137 people and counting is what Indrajit Kundu is telling us, even as we're putting out these pictures, in fact. We have more information coming in right now. And let's go straight to that breaking news right now. Tamil Nadu has also declared One-day state mourning. 237 people have been killed in the tragedy. Pramod Madhav has more details on that. Tamil Nadu also now joining in Odisha to declare, Pramod, one-day state mourning there.
Absolutely, the Chief Minister has declared one-day state mourning because earlier it was supposed to be a day of celebration in the state of Tamil Nadu, as it was the 100th birth and anniversary for the HCM Stalin's father and the former Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi. But all plans have been cancelled. Ministers have been sent along with IAS officers to Odisha, Bhubaneswar. They'll be reaching there by around 10:30, 11, and here in the State and Emergency Operations Center, all preparations are being made because the Chief Minister is expected to arrive here at any time. And already the Chief Minister has also spoken to Navin Patnaik yesterday itself, has stated that any kind of assurance that is required, all assurance will be provided. And in the state of Tamil Nadu, the fear is that unfortunately so far, the passengers who belong to Tamil Nadu, no such information is available. We went to the Central Railway Station yesterday night in the morning also. They claimed that in Coromandel Express there were 867 passengers. They have list of those who have pre-booked the tickets, but the reservation, they're unable to get it. They are trying to contact people who have already provided communications as well. But so far, there is no clear picture, and that's the reason even the state of Tamil Nadu is also panicking because of this train accident.
Absolutely. Tamil Nadu has now declared one-day state mourning is what Pramod Madhav is telling us. Pramod, you're giving us a sense of why the state authorities are also panicking, given that the complete list of passengers is not with them. What more can you tell us about that aspect?
The actual list of passengers is with the Central Railway Station. They, like yesterday night onwards, they set up a kind of like a help desk over there. But today morning when we went over there, the picture was completely different. More than the relatives or anybody who was coming over to ask details about the passengers, the actual passengers were supposed to board the Coromandel Express today morning. They felt completely stranded, and they were asking for details to go. So that was also an unfortunate ripple effect over there. But
be with us, Pramod. I'm just going to come back to you in a moment from now. Sudhanshu Sarangi, DGP Fire Services, is also now joining us. Thank you for your time, sir. What can you tell us about what really is going on as far as the rescue work is also concerned?
As regards rescue operations is concerned, we have 18 teams of the fire service department and 5 teams. So altogether about 400 people working since last evening. Injured were shifted by 10 o'clock. There are, many fatalities. We have by now got 280 plus dead bodies. Some more, unfortunately, might have perished. We are not expecting any survivors. So this is our operation is in the last leg, and hopefully we can complete it in the next 1 hour.
Mr. Sarangi, I just want to ask you, you mentioned that there are 280 people who've died in this tragedy is what you're telling us, and that's the count as of now?
Yes, that is the kind of figure that we have currently.
Okay.
It's a major accident, so all that the state government resources are all mobilized to the rescue work, and we have tried to do whatever best we can.
I also want to ask you, sir, I understand that this is a busy time for you, but if you could give us an idea about when do you expect, the operations to wrap up? Also, sir, are you expecting more bodies to be retrieved now from the debris, the mangled remains?
Should be fever, because we have cut open all the bogies and we have recovered many of the dead bodies and the survivors, etc. So if somebody is buried underneath the compartment, then that is the part that still remains to be accounted for. So it should not be very many now, and I think we should be able to complete our part of the job, and then it is for the Indian Railways to take it forward. They have to restore railway line. They have to do all that.
Yes. Okay. Also, sir,
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for getting us those details. So, Sudhanshu Sarangi there, you heard from the DGP Fire Services, telling us that in their assessment, there are over 280 bodies. There are over 280 people who have died in that tragedy, also telling us that they are expecting some more bodies to be retrieved, could be fewer, but in the mangled remains, they're expecting more bodies to be retrieved. However, that's a figure that we have with us, at least from the DGP Fire Services, Sudhanshu Sarangi, telling India Today that 280 people have died in that tragedy. That's horrible. We have more information, and we are just telling our viewers about what we were just told by the DGP Fire Services. 280. The death toll has risen. That's the figure that we have with us. Rescue operations continue to be underway. The DGP Fire Services just had a word with India Today, and we'll put that out for our viewers as soon as we can once again. But this is what he said. The bodies could be retrieved even further, but expecting fewer bodies. Also said that the rescue work is currently underway, even as they're putting out those pictures of Ashwini Vaishnav, the railway minister who's at the spot to do an assessment of the situation. 3 trains collided. 280 people have died. Indrajit Kundu has more details. I'm going to go straight to him for the live updates. Indrajit.
Well, Sneha, we now have with us a retired doctor who is volunteering here to help anybody who may require medical assistance. Dr. Sudhanshu Parida, you are here since morning. You just told me that there are a few dead bodies who are still locked there in this compartment. More than 200. 237 is the last count that I had, possibly going up. I have myself seen 2 bodies being recovered. What a terrible tragedy. You think the death toll is going to go up?
Yes, the death toll has to go up because many people are in a very traumatic stage and they have been admitted in a very serious condition in ICU and in other places. So there is a possibility that the casualty can go up. Because
so not just here, people, there might be casualties in the hospital also.
Yes, there is a possibility that there could be a casualty in the hospital because many of the passengers are now in the ICU.
Yeah.
So they are having severe injury and other ventilator support. So we do not know now because this will only we will be able to know.
It's not a good news, Sneha. But sir, Dr. Parida, I want to ask you: is there any possibility, slightest of possibility of any survival within this mangled coaches?
Probably it is a big no.
So that's the unfortunate reality. Doctor, of course, saying that this is impossible, that anybody will further survive at this point in time. Sneha, we'll have to cut this live coverage for some time because my camera person isn't feeling unwell. It's sweltering hot, Sneha, at this point in time. Very, very difficult for the various agencies to even perform their duties in this rescue and relief work.
Indrajit, we'll just come back to you in a moment from now. Indrajit there, reporting on that big breaking story. 280 people is the latest figure that we have with us on the DGP Fire Services. Speaking exclusively to India Today, saying that there could be more bodies retrieved, given that there are mangled remains and they're expecting, though fewer. However, this is an unthinkable tragedy that we're reporting on. Over 900 people have been injured. In fact, we also had in a word, from the doctor that Indrajit Kundu was speaking with, who said that several people are in ICU and that those who've in fact been injured also grievously, there is a possibility of the death toll going up on that front as well. Terrible story we're getting at this time of the DM of Balasore is now joining us. Terrible tragedy that we are reporting on. What details do you have with us about the death toll, sir? If you could give us an idea about that, and also whether you're expecting it to go up any further.
So, up till now, the official figure is 234. We are still recovering some of the dead bodies from the site. We have around 50 teams of NDRF, fire, OTRA, and state police and the executive magistrate. And we will get around 15 to 20 dead bodies more. I am on the field throughout the night. All the senior officers are on the field. Honorable PM has just reached on the field and will take stock of this. I hope all the other people in the hospital will be, I think, all of them will be safe. Thank you.
You know, also, okay, these are pictures of Ashwini Vaishnav now taking stock of the situation among the mangled debris of what remains or what was in fact a train. until 7 p.m. when that terrible accident took place yesterday. Listen into what the minister has said.
जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल हेल्थ फैसिलिटी होगी वो दी जाएगी। कंपनसेशन का अमाउंट कल रात में रेलवे की तरफ से डिक्लेयर हो गया था। एक हाई लेवल कमेटी भी ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर हो गई है जो कि पूरे एक्सीडेंट में इंक्वायरी करेगी। कमिश्नर रेल सेफ्टी को भी बुलाया गया है, वो भी इंक्वायरी करेंगे और इस प्रॉब्लम के, इस एक्सीडेंट के रूट कॉज में जाएंगे।
Ashwini Vaishnav, they're taking stock of the situation even as we have a confirmation on the. Okay, let's in fact go across to Minister Dharmendra Pradhan who's speaking right now.
कलकत्ता चेन्नई की मेन रूट पे ये स्टेशन आती है। ये रेल पटरी उसी होते हुए जाता है जहाँ हादसा हुई है। उसकी रेलवे कुछ सोच रहा होगा, लेकिन अभी तो सभी की ध्यान पहले कैसे इसकी एक स्टेज तक आ जाए। थोड़ी देर में मैं भी खुद थोड़ी देर में वहाँ पहुँचने वाला हूँ, नजदीक हो गया हूँ। क्या स्थिति है अभी तो सभी की ध्यान एकदम कैसे लोगों को बचाया जाए, कैसे चिकित्सा किया जाए, डॉक्टर्स पहुंचे उसी में लगे हैं आप सब।
और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है सर, सभी के भारतवासियों के मन में ये है कि एक तरफ हम वंदे भारत जैसे एक्सप्रेस चला रहे हैं, आज भी प्रधानमंत्री को उद्घाटन करना था जिसको रोक दिया गया। सेफ्टी की हम बात कर रहे हैं, हजारों करोड़ रुपए खर्च हो रहे हैं, लेकिन ये अब तक के इतिहास का सबसे भीषण रेल हादसा हो गया है। नतीजा यह है कि 280 लोगों को जान गंवानी पड़ी है। तो किस तरह से देखते हैं दोनों बातों को आप?
देखिए, मैं इस हादसे को बड़े गंभीरता से देखता हूँ और इसकी चिंता सभी को है। रेल मंत्री जी ने खुद ही कहा है कि इसकी वो तह तक जाएंगे, नतीजा उसको थोड़ा इंक्वायरी तक हमको धीरे रखना पड़ेगा। अभी प्रायोरिटी जो है उसमें हम सब लगे।
एक आखिरी सवाल आपसे लेना चाहेंगे सर, मेडिकल फैसिलिटी आसपास उतनी नहीं है बालासोर में, चूंकि घायलों की तादाद ज्यादा है, 1000 के आसपास है, 900 से ज्यादा है, उनमें बहुत ज्यादा लोग जो हैं सीरियस बताए जा रहे हैं। तो किस तरह से मेडिकल फैसिलिटी और कहां उनको शिफ्ट, और इस पर क्या जानकारी देंगे आप?
देखिए, कल रात से बालेश्वर, भद्रक, जाजपुर, कटक, भुवनेश्वर, ये पूरा 5 जिले में जितने हॉस्पिटल्स है अप टू एम्स तक का व्यवस्था है। और निश्चित रूप में इस प्रकार की जब एक बड़ी हादसा होती है वो की स्थिति बनती है। लेकिन मैं सारे जिलाओं की जो मेरी जानकारी की सूत्र है, मैं उनसे बात कर रहा हूँ, स्थानीय प्रशासन से भी जानकारी आ रही है, लोग उसमें वार फुटिंग पे काम पे लगे हैं।
रेलवे जो है मुख्य एक साधन है हम पूरे भारतवासियों के, सबसे सस्ता, सुविधा या हर एक मामले में आप लिहाज से कह लीजिए सुविधाजनक। ये भरोसा कैसे कायम होगा, क्योंकि 280 अगर जिंदगी काल के गाल में समा गई तो कहीं ना कहीं ये बहुत सीरियस मैटर है कि आगे आने वाले वक्त में ऐसे ना हो, क्योंकि हम 21वीं सदी में हैं और अब जब भारत तेज गति के साथ आगे सरपट दौड़ रहा है, रेल को भी ऐसे ही दौड़ना होगा सर, लेकिन सेफ्टी प्रायोरिटी।
निश्चित रूप में आने वाले दिनों में ये दुर्घटना इस प्रकार की दुर्घटना ना हो, निश्चित रूप में इस घटना से भी हम कुछ सीख लेंगे, लेकिन ये घटना तो अत्यंत दुखदायक है।
आखिरी सवाल, भारत की जनता को आप भरोसा दिलाइए, केंद्रीय मंत्री हैं आप और नजदीकी सबसे है और आप काफी आपका कार्यकाल रहा है, जिनकी भी भूमिका होगी, जिनकी भी लापरवाही गलती होगी, किस तरह से एक्शन?
निश्चित रूप में देखिए, अभी आज के दिन में इस सब चर्चा को थोड़ा हम कुछ समय के लिए छोड़े। अभी तो हम लोग काम पे लगे कि इसकी रेस्क्यू रिलीफ का ऑपरेशन हो जाए। और जब स्वयं रेल मंत्री जी ने इसको कहा ही है कि इसकी कमेटी बनाया गया है, उसकी अंत तक जाया जाएगा और अनुसंधान के बाद सारा चीज स्पष्ट होगा, निश्चित जवाबदेही तो बनेगी।
हमसे बातचीत कर दे।
You heard from Dharmendra Pradhan, who also, in fact, himself is from Odisha. The minister there giving details of what really has happened and what is the kind of work that is being done right now. Meanwhile, we have a confirmation of the death toll now at 280. That's the DG Fire Services speaking to India today, giving an idea about the current situation, also talking about the rescue work that continues to be underway as we speak. These are pictures coming in from Balasore in Odisha, where that horrible train accident took place yesterday at 7 p.m. Minister who's at the site right now.
जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल हेल्थ फैसिलिटी होगी वो दी जाएगी। कंपनसेशन का अमाउंट कल रात में रेलवे की तरफ से डिक्लेयर हो गया था। एक हाई लेवल कमेटी भी ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर हो गई है जो कि पूरे एक्सीडेंट में इंक्वायरी करेगी। कमिश्नर रेल सेफ्टी को भी बुलाया गया है, वो भी इंक्वायरी करेंगे और इस प्रॉब्लम के, इस एक्सीडेंट के रूट कॉज में जाएंगे।
Heartbreaking pictures coming in from Balasore in Odisha, where that train tragedy has killed 280 people. 900 people have been injured. In fact, the assessment is that the death toll could increase marginally because there are people, or bodies rather, trapped in the mangled remains of the trains, 3 trains there that collided, and the death toll stands at 280. What we also know is that the bodies that have been identified are being handed over to their relatives or transported to their respective destinations after autopsy as per the due procedure. This is what the Odisha Chief Secretary also said a while ago. We'll put that out also for our viewers. Tributes continue to pour in from different parts of the world as far as this tragedy is concerned. At 7 p.m., 3 trains collided in Balasore in Odisha. The death toll stands at 280. That's the figure that we have from the DG train services. 900 people have been injured in that terrible accident. The railway minister is at the spot taking stock of the situation, even as the bodies are getting identified by the relatives of those people who have died. And they're being transported to their respective destinations, is what the Odisha Chief Secretary has said. 400 personnel of various rescue teams are there on ground zero, including the Indian Air Force and the Army, are helping to, in fact, recover more people from the mangled remains of the debris of the train, essentially. Though authorities have indicated that there is very little possibility of finding anyone alive right now in the trains that collided. And what remains of them is just debris. A moment ago, we saw, in fact, Ashnavi Vaishnav, the railway minister, at the spot taking stock of the situation. Compensation amount and extra has already been extended to those who, in fact, the family members of those who've died in this tragedy, 10 lakh to those who've perished, and also extra payment to be given to those people who've been either grievously injured or injured. 2 lakh rupees to those who've been grievously injured, and 50,000 to those who received minor injuries in that horrible train accident that we are reporting on. Meanwhile, the Indian Railways has ordered a high-level inquiry into this entire incident, this entire accident. And the Odisha Chief Secretary essentially has said that identified bodies are being handed over to the relatives or transported to their respective destinations after autopsy. Statutory procedure is going to be followed for the unidentified ones, is what is being said. 900 passengers are being treated at several hospitals in Balasore, Mayurbhanj, Bhadrak, Jaipur and Cuttack districts, is what the Chief Secretary essentially has said. What we're also hearing is that Mamata Banerjee, Bengal Chief Minister, could be headed to the spot today. Many bodies continue to be trapped under the overturned coaches of the Yashwantpur Express. The army is trying to pull them out, is the information that we have from our colleagues right now. Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik has reached the accident spot, is the information that we have with us right now. Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik is at the spot where this accident took place late evening yesterday at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, the Railways has ordered a high-level probe in this entire matter. 280 people have died. Over 900 people have been injured. Naveen Patnaik is at the accident spot taking stock of the situation, whereas the Indian government, the Indian Railway Ministry, has ordered a compensation amount. It's drawn, in fact, straight to these live pictures coming in.
उम्मीद करता हूं आप भी उसमें सभी लोग हैं, कोई भी सो नहीं पाया है, सबके आंखें नम है, बहुतों ने अपनों को खो दिया। 280 की तादाद कम नहीं होती सर, अभी हो सकता है कि तादाद और बढ़े जिस तरह से भीषण हादसा हुआ है। एक अहम सवाल सबके मन में इस वक्त घर कर रहा है, वो ये है, मैं रख देता हूं वो सवाल, कि पहले से जो ट्रेनें चल रही हैं उनकी स्थिति ये है, उसका हादसा हो गया, 3 ट्रेनें प्रभावित होती हैं जिसमें 280 चले गए। अब सर वंदे भारत जैसी हाई स्पीड ट्रेन, बुलेट ट्रेन की परियोजना है, बहुत सारी चीजें, किस तरह से आप देखते हैं इसको, क्योंकि बहुत सारे आशंका है मन में। दानवे जी।
Death toll now increased to 280, injured over 900, even as we're putting out these pictures of Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, who's at the site on the ground zero at Balasore, where this terrible tragedy took place at 7 p.m. last evening. Previously, we also saw the Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav reaching the accident site, taking stock of the situation, even as the rescue operations continue. The Railway Minister has also, in fact, declared extra compensation to the victims of the tragedy, the train accident in Odisha, at 10 lakh rupees in the case of death, 2 lakh rupees towards grievous injuries, and 50,000 for those who have received minor injuries. He also spoke about the fact that the Air Force has been mobilized, and not just that, the NDRF, the state government, and also rescue teams have been mobilized from neighboring Bhubaneswar and Kolkata city as well. All hands on deck as far as the rescue work is concerned, is what Ashwini Vaishnav, the Railway Minister, said. Odisha Chief Minister is in fact on the spot right now. So is Mamata Banerjee, the Bengal Chief Minister, is what we've been given to understand. Indrajit Kundu is with us with the very latest as far as the rescue work is concerned. Indrajit, I think the sense that we get from the authorities that we've been speaking with is that expect now only bodies to be retrieved from the mangled remains, isn't it?
Well, Sneha, yeah, the death toll is mounting even as we speak. And the Odisha Chief Minister has now visited the spot. So I'll just try and get on the other side, because that's where Naveen Patnaik has come. You can see there is heavy security presence on the other side. The Railway Minister is also there. So possibly the Chief Minister is interacting with the Union Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. We did try and speak to him, but the Rail Minister was not willing to speak to the media at this point in time. We'll have to wait and see if he does brief the media once he finishes his recce of this entire area. But clearly, the situation on ground, not very good. It's pretty grim. I spoke to a doctor. He said the chances of survival of those who might be still trapped inside the debris is very, very grim. It's already 12 hours now, so there's barely any chance of people surviving. And the reason why the death toll is going up is that not just people who are trapped inside the debris, who of course very grim chances of their survival, but also people who are admitted in the hospital with very grievous injuries. A lot of them are also, dying, and therefore the death toll, of course, seem to have been mounting. So the Chief Minister is here at the accident site, trying to speak to officials and check how the rescue effort is underway. I'll just try and give you a frame. Let me see if I can do that. In the meanwhile, just stay on with us. প্রশ্ন সাবধানে এসো দেখি দাদা।
Sisters on the spot and getting us all the details is Indrajit Kundu, my colleague, who's been reporting relentlessly from ground zero, getting us up to speed with the current situation in Balasore in Odisha, Also, NDRF is, in fact, they continue with the rescue work. We have, in fact, a figure of 280 with us. This from the DG Fire Services. As far as the Odisha train tragedy is concerned, death toll has now gone up to 280. Rescue operations continued overnight. This accident took place at about 7 p.m. last evening in Balasore. At the end of the day, as far as the rescue work is concerned, that continues. But in fact, we're also hearing is that the death toll could go up even further. Health services have been pressed into action right now, and those who have been injured have been taken to various hospitals in Bhubaneswar in the vicinity of Balasore. Over 900 injured passengers are being treated at several hospitals in Balasore, Mayurbhanj, Bhadrak, Jaipur and Cuttack districts, is what the Chief Secretary Pradeep Jena just in fact announced. Also, what he said was that identified bodies are being handed over to their relatives or transported to their respective destinations after autopsies. Statutory procedure will be followed for the unidentified bodies. We're staying with these pictures coming in of the NDRF personnel also involved in the rescue work right now. Three trains were involved in this collision. Derailment tragedy is what Odisha's Chief Secretary had essentially said. Right now, we have the figure of 280 people who've died, even as the rescue work continues, and it could take several hours to, in fact, remove the mangled debris, what remains of the trains, the three trains that collided, leading to just so many people perishing in that terrible tragedy. I'll try and connect to my colleague Indrajit Kundu, who continues, in fact, to be with us. Indrajit, if you can hear me, what more can you tell us about the rescue work that continues and what really is the assessment? The Indian Air Force is also involved in the rescue operations, and so is the Indian Army, the NDRF that continues to, in fact, retrieve bodies from the mangled remains of the three trains that collided. This undoubtedly is one amongst the many train tragedies that India unfortunately has seen for years together, but in this particular one, Ritik, my colleague, is in fact reporting from ground zero as well. Let's go straight to him.
यानी उसका जो डिटेल पता करवाना, अगर जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि इसके पीछे अभी भी मैं देख सकता हूँ कि बहुत से जो बॉडीज है अभी भी उसके अंदर है, इनको निकालने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जद्दोजहद आर्मी के जो जवान है वो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जो हम देख रहे हैं कि फिलहाल जो इसीलिए अहम हो जाता है तमाम वो चीजें, लगेजेस और जो दस्तावेज जो मिल रहा है उनकी शनाख्ती के लिए हमने उन्होंने हमें ही बताया कि ये जो चीजें हैं, क्योंकि वो जनरल डिब्बों से सफर कर रहे थे, इसीलिए इन सब चीजों को इकट्ठा किया जाएगा, एक बैग में अलग तरीके से रखा जा रहा है, बाद में उन सब चीजों को देखी जाएगी.
Ritik there getting us those latest details from ground zero. I'll try and go across to Indrajit also for more on that, even as we stay with these pictures of the rescue work that is in fact being carried out. 900 people have been taken, injured passengers have been taken to various hospitals is what the authorities are indicating. It's time for a quick break here. We're getting you many more details in just a bit.
Shreya Saha's family is celebrating. The 16-year-old who suffers from cerebral palsy has scored a first division in her Class 10 West Bengal board exam. She scored 502 marks, though she was never able to attend school every day due to her health condition.
उसको छोटा से ही जन्म से ही इसे हाँ प्रॉब्लम थी
चलने फिरने में प्रॉब्लम
हाँ चलने फिरने तो पूरा ही प्रॉब्लम है इसको 4 डेज तो जाती ही थी हफ्ता में हाँ जाते हैं
इसको कोई दिक्कत
नहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं होता था वो व्हील चेयर में ही चल जाती है उसमें ही बैठ के स्कूल का अंदर क्लासरूम में वहीं बैठ के वहीं क्लास करती थी
Shreya says she wants to study hard and make her parents proud.
তো এই ফার্স্ট ক্লাস পাওয়ার জন্য কতক্ষণ পড়াশোনা করতে
মা যতক্ষণ পড়াতো সময় পেত মা যতক্ষণ তখনই পড়তো
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা এই ক্লাস 10 তো হয়ে গেল এবার এরপরে কি পড়াশোনা করবে
আর্টস নিয়ে পড়বো
A local councillor has promised to fund Shreya's further studies.
हाँ हम लोगों ने किया है शशिदी आई थी वो खुद इनको एक चेक देके गई हैं नहीं वो अपने पर्सनल अभी तो वो पर्सनल अपने हिसाब से देके गई हैं हम लोग दोनों ने मिलके ही वो काम किया है तो हम लोग सब समय हैं और रहेंगे जो भी इनको जरूरत पड़ेगी उस समय उनके साथ में
Shreya now aims to do better in the higher secondary examinations.
From here it's uphill for Shreya and the family as the next target is that she will repeat her glory in the class 12 examinations and from there lead a better life. With camera person Kiranji, this is Suryagni Roy for India Today, Kolkata.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Doesn't matter.
It's time for a quick commercial break here. Our continuous coverage on the other side of this break is back.
ये बहुत ही दर्दनाक और ये स्पष्ट बयां करने वाला हिस्सा है
डेड बॉडी है अभी तक निकलता नहीं कभी अभी है हम लोग मिलके बहुत सारे रेस्क्यू किए
ये रेलवे की पटरी है जो टूटकर नीचे से ऊपर तक पहुंच जाती है।
Summers are devastating for stray animals. The scorching heat wave means animals living on the street struggle for water. Karma Foundation is on a mission to make life easy for stray animals.
This water bowl challenge is also one of such initiatives where we know during the scorching heats of summer has to provide the basic requirement for the health of the pet, which is water, and hence we are actually donating the water bowls.
These water bowls are a big relief for stray animals living under the open sky in sweltering weather. Karma Foundation has requested people to join their movement by placing a bowl of water outside their home or workplace. Bureau Report, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
Kerala's public health. All political parties traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
You think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You are watching India Today.
We have more news, in fact, coming in. Politics has erupted over the deadly Odisha train tragedy. Opposition, in fact, is asking for the rail mantri's resignation. Congress is asking, where was the coverage when the train derailed? TMC says, had it happened under Mamata, the centre would have made it a huge issue. AAP says, we raised the railways worsening situation earlier as well. Where was the coverage is the question that is being asked not just by political parties but by others as well, given that that would ensure the safety and the proper functioning of the tracks. Also, the AAP, in fact, is saying that railways worsening situation has been raised earlier as well, demanding the resignation of Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. The opposition, meanwhile, is gunning for the railway minister, saying that he must resign. The TMC says that had this happened when Mamata Banerjee was the railways minister, which she was in UPA 2, then the BJP would have made it a big issue, is what the TMC has said.
ये नियर निग्लिजेंस है, बेफिक्री है। तो जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? जिम्मेदारी रेलवे मंत्रालय की है। लाल बहादुर शास्त्री जब रेलवे मंत्री थे, रेलवे का हंसा हो गया, इस्तीफा दिया नैतिकता के आधार पर। माधवराव सिंधिया उड़ान मंत्री थे, हादसा हो गया, इस्तीफा दे दिया। लेकिन इस सरकार में इतना बड़ा हादसा होने के बावजूद मंत्री जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेता है। हाँ, नैतिकता के आधार पर मंत्री ने इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
Rajesh Saha is getting us more details as far as this terrible tragedy is concerned. Joining us right now from Howrah railway station. Rajesh, what more can you tell us as far as the rescue and relief work is concerned?
Exactly, right now I'm present at Howrah station in Kolkata, and one more train to reach Howrah within few minutes, which is Yashwantpur-Howrah Express, which made accident yesterday at Balasore, Odisha. And after recording few bogies, the train is being reached at Howrah station within few minutes, along with all the injured passengers who were minorly injured and were discharged after primary treatment from those local hospitals. All those passengers are being brought in this train. Within few minutes, the train will be here in the Howrah station, and till now you can see from the railway ministry medical booth has been set up in the Howrah station, platform number 8, and from the B.R. Singh Hospital in Kolkata. This is a railway hospital in Kolkata. B.R. Singh Hospital doctors are here. More than 10 doctors are here for the medical treatment. And you can see more than 10 ambulances are also present here from Howrah Municipality. Howrah Municipality has provided almost 7 to 8 ambulances here, and rest of the ambulances are from Railway Ministry and BRC Hospital. All those ambulances are ready to carry all the injured passengers. You can see a few medical staffs are present there with the necessary medicines, and food packets and water bottles are being brought to the platform for the passengers, because within few minutes those passengers will reach here. And right now we can see one of the relative of the victim is present here.
শালিমার স্টেশনে পড়েছিল উনি কি এই ট্রেনে আসছে এইখানে আসছে এইখানে খড়গপুরে ট্রেনে আসছি
এই খবরটা আপনারা পেলেন কোথা থেকে রেলের তরফ থেকে রেল জানিয়েছে আপনাদের যে আপনার ছেলে ফিরছে এই ট্রেনে
আমার ছেলে ফোন করছে খড়গপুর লাইনের বাস স্ট্যান্ডে ফিরছি 8 নম্বরে গাড়ি দিবে আমার ছেলে ফোন করছে
আপনার নাম
You can see more families are waiting for their relatives. आपका कोई है ट्रेन में?
है हमारा हस्बैंड है हमारा हस्बैंड है
क्या हुआ तो
एक्चुअली सर हम बता रहे थे इनका हस्बैंड SMBT बेंगलोर गाड़ी में B5 में कोच अटेंडेंट है। तो वो एक्चुअली हुआ है कि वो गाड़ी मेरा था, मतलब उसमें ड्यूटी मेरा था। तो ऐसा कोई मसला आ गया मेरे घर में, तो हम बोले कि सर जी आप चल जाओ, वो सीनियर है। तो बोले कोई बात नहीं तू चला जा, मैं चला जाऊंगा। जाने के बाद जब ये घटना हुआ, बहुत नेटवर्क नहीं था उस समय, तो उनका मिसेस मेरे से कंटिन्यू कांटेक्ट कर रही है कि तुम जो मेरे हस्बैंड को भेजा, तुम किसी को बताया कि नहीं बताया, ऑफिस में किसी को बताया। हम भी डर गए, हम तो पूरा कंफ्यूज हो गए, फोन लग नहीं रहा है, कांटेक्ट हो नहीं रहा है, अगला बंदा भी किसी से साथ कांटेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है। उस समय नेटवर्क ही नहीं था, टावर नहीं था। जब कांटेक्ट हुआ तब दिल को सुकून आया, तब इनको कांटेक्ट किया। अब बोले बस माने सर जी अच्छे हैं, काका अच्छे हैं, हमारे काका काका बोलते हैं हम लोग। तो बोले कि আমি ঠিক আছি, আমি এবার অন্য বগিতে যাচ্ছি, যত দেখছি কি অসুবিধা, हिंदी में बोले। तो वो चाचा बोले कि अब मैं दूसरे बॉगी में जा रहा हूँ, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि कौन कितना क्या स्थिति में है, बाकी मैं तुमको लाइव करके दिखाऊंगा, फोटो खींच के बताऊंगा। तो कल से उनके साथ हम लोग का कांटेक्ट में है, वो ठीक है, अभी वो गाड़ी में लौट रहे हैं। तो इसीलिए मैं उनके मिसेस को और उनका लड़का को पर्सनली खुद लेके आया हूँ कि भैया आप देख लो आपके हस्बैंड एकदम सही सलामत वापस आ रहे हैं, बस। यस सर, पहले तो हम लोग को फोन आ गया कि तुम्हारा जगह पे जो गया था वो बंदा को पहले फोन करो। तो फोन करेंगे कैसे, नेटवर्क नहीं है। तो मैं तो विश्वास नहीं कीजिए, भगवान का सब, मैं तो पूरा डर गया। मैं तो बाथरूम में जाकर बंद हो गया कि यार क्या हो गया, कहीं कुछ 19-20 हो जाएगा। तो समझ रहे हैं ना, एक मैं कहा मेरे से उम्रदार आदमी को मैं भेज दिया और उनके साथ ये घटना हो गया। तो जब आपका मोबाइल पे या टीवी में जब देखा सब कुछ इससे हुआ, जब उनका कम से कम 2 घंटे के बाद फोन लगा, जब फोन आया खुद वो फोन किए हम कि सुनील दा আমি ঠিক আছি, তুমি আমার বাড়িতে জানিয়ে দাও আমি ঠিক আছি, ভালো। ओ सॉरी, वो बंगाली है। तो वो बोले कि सुनील भाई আমি ठीक है, तुम मेरे घर के साथ कांटेक्ट कर लो, मैं एकदम कुशल मंगल हूँ। अब मैं यहाँ से उतर के वो कोरोमंडल में जा रहा हूँ कि उसका परिस्थिति क्या है, हम लोग का क्या पोजीशन है। इसके अलावा वो कोच अटेंडेंट है, उनके पास वो बेडरोल चद्दर का दायित्व रहता है, मैंने कम से कम 300-350 चद्दर का। वो तो वो उस समय तो वो आप समझ रहे हैं ना, उसी का दरकार था। तो वो वहाँ पे दौड़ के किए, उसके बाद रात को उतना कांटेक्ट नहीं हुआ, हम लोग अपने में डिस्कस कर लिए। बाकी तो मीडिया को भी पता चल नहीं, उनको कोई चोट नहीं लगा, वो एकदम ठीक है, कुशल मंगल है, एकदम ठीक है। अभी तो हमसे लास्ट 1 घंटा से बात हुआ, बोला गाड़ी उलबेरिया रोक दिया है, गाड़ी वहाँ से हिल नहीं रहा है। नहीं, हम खुद जानबूझ के उनसे कांटेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं। एक्चुअली पहले ही मेरा फ्रेंड लोग, मेरा और भी स्टाफ लोग जो था जिससे था, वो लोग पहले ही आके मतलब मीडिया लेके चला आया। तो वो बोल रहा है कि किसी को कुछ मत बोलो, किसी को कुछ मत बताना, पहले जो तुम्हारे साथ जो हादसा हुआ, जो केस हुआ, पहले हम लोग को दे दो, उसके बाद किसी को बताना। अब बस उसी को लेकर मैं परेशान हूँ।
जब तक उनको आंखों में नहीं देख पा रहे तब तो टेंशन हो ही। हम लोग इसलिए यहाँ पर चले आए। बात हम जब यहाँ पर हावड़ा पर पहुँचा है तब 11:30 बजे, 11:30 समय उनके साथ हमारा लास्ट कथा हुआ। उन्होंने कहा कि हम ठीक है, सुरक्षित है, हम आ रहे हैं, इस ट्रेन में फिर रहे हैं।
अभी भी टेंशन हो रहा है?
अब देखिए जब तक उसको आंखों में नहीं देख रहा है तब तक तो हमारा सही मन में जो टेंशन है वो तो नहीं निकल रहा है ना। जब तक हम उसी पर वीडियो कॉल देखा था, ट्रेन का परिस्थिति देखा था। हम रात जब 11 बजे हम वीडियो कॉल किया था तब उन्हें हमको दिखाया, सब कुछ दिखाया, सब कुछ बोला। तब तक हम उस देखने के बाद हमारा ठीक अच्छा नहीं लगा। उन्हें कुछ नहीं बोला, इसलिए हम लोग घर का लोग है, टेंशन करेंगे।
All right, here's an exclusive conversation with Sudhanshu Mani, creator and father of train 18 Vande Bharat Express. He sheds light on the importance of the Kavach and if this tragic mishap could have been averted.
इसमें जो मेन खामी जो हुई है, जिसका रीजन अभी नहीं बात करनी चाहिए क्योंकि अभी इंक्वायरी होनी है, ये पहली ट्रेन क्यों डिरेल हुई? ये कोई सिग्नलिंग फेलियर नहीं लगता है, ये कोई ड्राइवर का भी फॉल्ट नहीं लगता मुझे। प्रिलिमिनरी ये कह सकते हैं कि कोरोमंडल के ड्राइवर को कितना रिएक्शन टाइम मिला ब्रेक करने के लिए जब उसने ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन देखा। मेरे ख्याल से उसको कोई रिएक्शन टाइम नहीं मिला और वो सेकंड्स के अंदर ही वो ट्रेन ये इधर डिरेल हुई और इधर से ये आ गई। व्हाई दिस एक्सीडेंट कुड हैव बीन प्रोवाइडेड इट कवच वाज प्रेजेंट? I say no, it would not have been avoided. Prima facie, what I see, it is not a case of signal violation by the driver. It is not a case of head-on collision of two trains. It is a case of derailment of a train, perhaps, as it seems, in the station yard on a straight line due to whatever reason. And that is something that Kavach would not prevent. Prevention of that is possible only through good maintenance practices for the track and coaches.
So we have an expert opinion giving us a sense of what would have happened had Kavach been deployed on this route. He says it would have not really helped because this case is a little different from what we are really talking about vis-a-vis why the accident happened. Of course, the inquiry report is awaited. But let's just give our viewers an overview of what really happened in this case. The goods train stationed at the Bahanaga Bazaar station. As you can see in this animation, that this was the goods train that was stationed. The Coromandel Express hits this goods train wagon, and that's what really happened here, leading to this immediate derailment. The Coromandel Express, which was on its way to Chennai, derailed at the Bahanaga Bazaar station. The Howrah Superfast, it was coming from the opposite direction, hit it. That's what really happened. Then it derailed and entangled with the Coromandel train that was in fact coming. And that's how the triple collision actually took place. So there were 3 trains involved in this, and this happened at the Balasore railway station in Odisha. The triple train collision tragedy that we are reporting on from Balasore in Odisha. The death toll is at 280. Those people who have been injured, many of them grievously, 900. The Prime Minister is taking stock of the situation and will be in Balasore, is what we understand. Also, the Railways Minister has taken stock of the situation already and is in Balasore right now, along with Dharmendra Pradhan, former MP from this area, and also belongs to Odisha. The rescue work continues. The NDRF personnel continue to look for people trapped in the debris, including bodies. Questions being raised as to what really happened here. Even as the rescue work continues in this case, many raising questions about fixing accountability, and rightly so. Opposition is asking the Railways Minister to resign. The TMC, in fact, has gone to the extent of saying that had it been Mamata Banerjee as a railway minister, which she was previously, the BJP would have gone all guns blazing, demanding her resignation. Why should accountability not be fixed? Why should heads not roll is the question that the opposition is asking. Nearly 300 people have died. The count can increase, is what we know. Injured patients, some others, in fact, have been taken to 4 or 5 hospitals in the vicinity in Cuttack and Bhubaneswar. Indrajit Kundu has been on ground zero, getting us up to speed. Indrajit, get us the very latest as far as the rescue work is concerned. We've seen the pictures that have been put out by the NDRF as well. It does appear that more bodies have been retrieved. Any more information on the latest death toll?
Well, you know, the death toll is at 238, but it's likely to go up. And we are waiting for an official confirmation on that. However, you know, what we are given to understand is that most of the dead bodies from the location, the accident site, has been taken out. There are a few more that may be hidden there. They're using gas cutters because the entire debris is precariously mangled, and to get access into it requires time and effort, and that's exactly what the NDRF teams are doing since last night. But you know, overall, we can say that the effort is slowly winding up, and we've seen a lot of VIP movement that has taken place since morning. Rail Minister Ashwini Vaishnav came in. He has ordered a high-level inquiry. The Chief Minister was here. Even West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is on her way, and we are expecting her to arrive here anytime now. And now we are hearing that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also come to this location and see for himself the kind of tragedy that has struck the Indian railways, none like in recent times. So, you know, they are winding up the overall effort of bringing out the dead bodies. The dead bodies have been kept at a school. It's a temporary makeshift morgue that has been created. A few hundred dead bodies are lying there at a school. The fear is that if they are not dispatched and handed over to their families soon, they might start rotting and it might start stinking. So the administration clearly has a task cut out, and they will also have to identify those bodies, mind you, and then hand them over to their families. In fact, there are a lot of people who are at that morgue with photographs of their near and dear ones, trying to figure out which is the dead body. It's a terrible, terrible situation out here, Sneha, and something that will continue for some time. And to add to this entire thing is the weather. It's sultry, it's hot and humid, and the NDRF and the army teams are fighting it out in this heat just to clear the debris so that normal operations can start on the stretch which saw this fateful accident take place last night. Sneha.
Well, absolutely. Also, Indrajit is telling us that the rescue work essentially continues. Indrajit, we're also hearing that there are several people who are grievously injured. Give us an idea about how they are doing at this point in time.
Well, that's right. A lot of people are being treated at various hospitals across Odisha right now, and you know, and the death toll has gone up because a lot of them who were critically injured succumbed to their injuries. They didn't survive. So that fear is also there. So even though what the agencies are telling us that they might not be, you know, hopeful of any more bodies from the debris, but there is always this this apprehension that those who are grievously injured, some of them might not survive.
Some of them may not survive. Hospitals have been taken to several, in fact, patients have been taken to several hospitals around Balasore, given that there are 900 people who have been injured. The Prime Minister has also had to take stock of the situation in person. He is going to be visiting Balasore, and then Cuttack is what we know. Also, Indrajit, if you could give us an idea about how soon can we expect services to be restored in this particular stretch? It's going to be taking a couple of days. What really is the action plan? Any more details on that front?
Well, Sneha, that's true. It's going to take, it's anybody's guess actually. It's going to take a few days for entire thing to normalize, because the kind of situation that is, the tracks will have to be repaired, the electrical lines will have to be repaired. They were doing some of the repair work today. There is no electric connection in that location, and generators have been brought in by the NDRF. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done. The first and foremost work, of course, is to clear the debris, which will at least take a few more days, and then probably they will be able to indulge in repair work.
Indrajit Kundu getting us those details from ground zero at the Balasore accident site. Indrajit, What are the people around you, in fact, saying as far as the magnitude of this tragedy, the devastation is concerned? The NDRF has been sharing images of bodies getting retrieved, even from the mangled remains of the train. This is a tragedy that's going to haunt us for a very, very long time, being in fact one of the worst train tragedies that we've seen in the last decade or so.
Absolutely. This image is going to haunt me personally. I've never covered something like this in my life. I've seen that, massive tragedy that took place in Calcutta, where in a hospital fire, 100 people died in the AMRI fire tragedy. There have been many. I've just come back from Manipur, where there are, 98 people who have died, and their bodies are also rotting in the morgue. Yet to be handed over. But what we are seeing here unfold, it's just the magnitude is just unthinkable. It's on a different scale, and therefore it's so sudden. The fact that it happens so suddenly, it's so shocking that everybody, even locals here in this area in Balasore, they are right now yet to come to terms with the fact that something of this sort has happened and has happened in Odisha. It will perhaps take a long, long time for people to come to terms with the and also it will have a psychological impact. I'm sure passengers across the country, passengers who will, board a train right now or in an hour's time or tomorrow, or anybody who travels on the Indian railways, they will have some amount of fear, and they will have some amount of question in their mind about safety of passengers on the Indian railways. That has always remained paramount. We've always seen politicians, rail ministers, everybody talking about safety first. How much of it has been put to work, and where are the necessary solutions is the question that one must ask, because we move from one railway accident to the other. It's almost become like a number, like a chart. And we keep, highlighting those worst railway accidents that has happened in Indian history. But what have we learned from it? At a time when we are talking about high-speed trains like Vande Bharat, we're talking about a bullet train between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Unless we solve this very, very basic problem of security and safety, how on earth can we talk about technological marvels like bullet train is something that I'm sure many people in India are asking today.
That's right. Details of what really happened in that case, and we'll keep coming back to you, Indrajit Kundu, for more on that. The figure that we have with us is of 280, but this is the figure that we have from the DG Fire Services. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on his way to Balasore in Odisha. He then will be in Cuttack. He is leaving, is what we've been given to understand. In fact, the Prime Minister's office has tweeted about it, saying that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leaving for Odisha, where he will review the situation in the way in mishap. That's the information that we have at the start, that the Prime Minister is leaving for Odisha. He will be in Balasore, is what we've been given to understand, and then in Cuttack, where he will take stock of the situation and also meet the injured passengers in the hospital in Cuttack, where they are recuperating. Paulmi Saha has more on that. Yes, Paulmi.
That's right. The information, of course, that's coming in from the Prime Minister's social media handle, where it has been reported that the Prime Minister is leaving now for Odisha, where he will be reviewing the situation in the wake of the train mishap. Remember, earlier we reported that the Prime Minister will be visiting the accident site in Balasore, and after that, he will be going to the hospital in Cuttack to meet the injured persons who have, in fact, been rescued from the mishap site and taken to hospital for immediate medical attention. So it will be a couple of hours, Sneha, before the Prime Minister, in fact, reaches Odisha. But that is the latest information that's coming in at the moment. This after the Prime Minister earlier convened a high-level meeting at 7 LKM at his residence in Delhi, where he was virtually joined by certain officials who are obviously on the ground already from the Railways Department, taking stock of the situation, where he was told exactly as to where the current status of relief and rescue stands at, because that is the priority. We do, of course, believe that, in fact, the relief efforts are over at the moment. So now, of course, they're going to try and ensure that everyone gets the best possible medical attention as soon as possible. And, of course, the investigation will carry on as well on the sidelines as to what exactly caused this absolutely shocking tragedy that has claimed so many lives. But as far as the local hospitals is concerned. The information, of course, received is that there are at least 261 casualties. But remember that already the DG Fire Services, Dr. Sarangi, had claimed that there could be more than 280 fatalities as far as this tragic accident is concerned. Neha.
Absolutely. As far as extending the best possible medical care to those who've been injured in this polemy is concerned, the different arms of the government have swung into action already. This is the kind of work that the Prime Minister also is expected to oversee.
The Prime Minister, of course, was trying to ensure in terms of the rescue and relief that every agency possible that can, in fact, aid in this process is involved, and everyone is putting their best foot forward in terms of ensuring that speedy relief reaches those persons who are injured, and rescue operations, in fact, are completed, which the Railways Minister just a short while ago informed reporters on ground that the rescue operation is over at the moment, and of course the restoration work has started. Of course, the Railways Minister also informed that there will be a thorough investigation of this tragedy, and they will of course ensure that no such incident happens in the future. But clearly our hearts do go out to those who have lost their loved ones in absolutely horrific tragedy that has taken place in Balasore, Odisha. And the Prime Minister will soon be there in order to take stock of the situation himself and, of course, extend his sympathies to the injured persons when he visits them in hospitals in Cuttack.
The Prime Minister on his way to Odisha is going to be in Balasore at the site of the accident, and then in Cuttack, where many of the injured passengers are recuperating right now, is what Poulomi Saha is telling us. The Prime Minister has started for Odisha. In fact, the Prime Minister's office has tweeted about it, saying that he will also be meeting survivors in the hospital in Cuttack. Remember, there are 900 people who've been injured. Many of them have received grievous injuries, and they're spread across in areas in the vicinity of Balasore, in hospitals in Cuttack, in Balasore, in Mayurbhanj, also in Bhubaneswar, and the Jaipur districts of Odisha, from where we're getting in ground reports. These are pictures of the Prime Minister previously taking stock of the situation. Poulomi continues, in fact, to be with us. Previously, the Prime Minister held this meeting, getting a sense of what could have really happened in this case. Poulomi.
That's right. This, of course, is a tragedy which has shaken the entire country. The Prime Minister, of course, Sneha, like I said, has been constantly in touch with officials on the ground, including, of course, the Union Railways Minister since last evening, in order to take stock of the situation, in order to understand what led to this tragedy and, of course, the scale of the tragedy as well, and ensuring, of course, because that is priority, that all the persons who were trapped in the bogies that, in fact, collided are basically going to, in fact, are rescued immediately. And then, of course, the relief is...
Looking for a house online, but every option leading you to brokers? Check rental house listings by genuine owners. Contact them directly and find a house paying zero brokerage. Only on nobroker.com.
On the ground already, he was given a presentation as well. NDRF officials were present as well. He understood, of course, the Home Minister was present in that meeting as well. He understood, of course, what exactly happened in terms of these trains that collided on ground in Balasore. Prime Minister's office officials were also present over there. And now we were told by our sources within the Prime Minister's office that, in fact, the Prime Minister is en route to Odisha.
Okay, do we know where he's going to land, Poulomi? This is Shiv here. I've just joined the broadcast. Do we know where the Prime Minister is going to land? I assume he'll be getting to the nearest airfield by a fixed-wing aircraft and then take a helicopter to the site.
That's right. Shiv, we are, of course, trying to get details of the itinerary, but what we're told so far is first he is going to go straight to the accident site.
Yes.
He'll head to Balasore first. And after he has been to the accident site and he's given a briefing by the officials who are on the ground, and he sees, of course, the scale of this tragedy for himself, he will head to Cuttack, where most of the injured persons have been taken to the hospital in Cuttack, where, of course, the injured persons are being treated. Of course, the injured persons are being treated in various nearby districts as we speak at the moment, because the hospitals are inundated in the area and in the vicinity of Balasore. But the Prime Minister, we're told, at the moment the program stands Balasore and Cuttack.
Okay, Balasore and Cuttack is where the Prime Minister is going to be landing. The Prime Minister has already has already departed the national capital. He's en route now. So in the next couple of hours, the Prime Minister will be at the site. Like Polami just told us in that news break, the Prime Minister will first be visiting the accident site. He's going to spend some time there taking stock of the situation from senior rescue officials on site at the accident area in Balasore. And then he will go to Cuttack to meet with the families of the injured and the grieving. So this is the latest that we're getting to you right now. Remember, Ashwini Vaishnav, the railway minister, reached late last night. Overnight, he was there. He's been there through the day. Chief Minister of Odisha, Naveen Patnaik, also on site. The both of them, of course, will also meet the Prime Minister once he arrives in Balasore very, very shortly. We're keeping a very close track of the Prime Minister's arrival. We'll get you an update on that in just a minute from now. Polumi, last quick update before we move on to other images coming in from the ground and preparations for the Prime Minister's arrival. We do know that Ashwini Vaishnav, Naveen Patnaik and others are on the ground. Any plans that you're picking up of, more government leaders or ministers to head to Odisha at this time?
Well, at the moment, two union ministers are on the ground. That's Ashwini Vaishnav and Dharmendra Pradhan, who hails from the state of Odisha.
Yes.
So they are, of course, on behalf of the central government. They are monitoring all the rescue efforts. The Home Minister, of course, is keeping a very close eye on the operations that are on ground in Balasore. He is, of course, coordinating with the NDRF teams as well. He was in that meeting, Shiv, that the Prime Minister earlier convened. He was at 7 LPM. And then, of course, we do have the chief ministers visiting as well. You have Mamata Banerjee, who in fact is there as well. She is, of course, trying to coordinate in terms of help that can be given. Vis-a-vis, of course, bringing some of the injured to West Bengal or any sort of aid, because it's obviously in terms of distance, it's closest, and it can, of course, aid the process as well. So at the moment, of course, the plan is to have Union Ministers Ashwini Vaishnav and Dharmendra Pradhan on the ground over there, at least for the day.
Okay, Dharmendra Pradhan, Ashwini Vaishnav, Chief Minister of Odisha and West Bengal, both are there. Mamata Banerjee as well as Naveen Patnaik. Other images are going to be coming your way in just a moment. We'll give you a sense of what's going to be happening on the ground when the Prime Minister arrives and who's going to be briefing him. All of that, of course, will be live here on India Today in our non-stop rolling coverage of one of India's worst train tragedies. I want to bring you now some of those heartbreaking, defining images from the ground. Let's take you through those. Railway Minister, well, there are many people still trapped inside the bogies. That's Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, who reached the accident spot in Balasore where the three trains collided. He went inside one of the trains and carried out inspections with top officials. He also ordered a high-level probe into this tragic accident. He spoke to India Today. We'll play that out in just a moment. Well, after the accident, people have been queuing up to donate blood to the injured in Balasore. This is an incredible image of humanity. A total of around 200 ambulances have also been deployed at the spot, along with 45 mobile health teams. As you can see, amazing, brave locals queuing up along with ambulances to donate blood. Well, as the death toll in the Odisha train accident rises to beyond 280, aerial pictures from drone cameras show the true extent of what happened. These images are breaking hearts across the country and across the world, instilling a sense of disbelief over how something like this could have happened in 2023's India. Medical College and all hospitals in and around Balasore are on high alert. Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik visited the Balasore District Hospital where survivors of this tragic accident are undergoing treatment. He met and spoke to many of the families. He is currently still there and will be there when Prime Minister Modi arrives in the next couple of hours. Meanwhile, the railway spokesperson has said the rescue operation has been completed and authorities are now starting restoration work to open up these lines. They're beefing up restoration operations. As of now, 48 trains have been cancelled, 39 have been diverted, and 10 have been short terminated. The railways officially announcing that all bodies as well as the injured people who were trapped inside the bogies have been removed from the train. And here's a report by my colleague Satyajit from Balasore. He was one of the first reporters to reach this tragic site overnight. This is from the Balasore hospital where injured victims are undergoing treatment. Through our coverage today, I'd like to advise viewer discretion. Many of these images are very upsetting, but I urge you to stay with our coverage because we're bringing you facts, information, very importantly voices, and we will be assigning accountability as well. Here is Satyajit's report.
देखिए ये बालासोर हॉस्पिटल का दृश्य है, सर्जरी विभाग है ये, और ये पूरा पटा पड़ा है। जो सर्वाइवर्स हैं उनको यहाँ पर 900 जो है इंजर्ड हैं, उनका इलाज यहाँ हो रहा है और कुछ अन्य अस्पतालों में भी हो रहा है। तो अच्छा, उस वक्त क्या हुआ? किस बोगी में थे? जनरल बोगी में थे? जनरल में थे। तो क्या हुआ अचानक से? कैसा महसूस हुआ? अचानक से तुरंत इधर उधर गाड़ी पूरा उठा पटकने लगा। हाँ, बाद में पता चला कि उधर से जड़ी आ रहा था, कोयला गाड़ी आ रहा था। हाँ, उसे चोट लग गया उसी में आपको? तो आप होश में थे? आपने देखा उसको या? होश थे। होश थे। अब देखिए एक ऐसे भी शख्स हैं जो अपने जो है नियर एंड डियर और परिजनों को खोज रहे हैं। इनके आप कौन है आपके? ये हम उसका गांव का आदमी है। उसका माँ बाप वहाँ से फोन किया है, मेरा बच्चा को देखो, मेरा बच्चा का कहाँ जा रहा था? ये जा रहा था चेन्नई जा रहा था।
सर पहले जैसे कि वो गाड़ी चलते चलते पता चला कि पटरी से गाड़ी उतरा, ऐसे ऐसे करते करते पलटी मार दिया। पलटी मार दिया? तो आप लोग सेल्स में थे? जी नहीं, मेरे ऊपर वो सीट टूट के गिरा गया। सीट टूट के गिर गया आपके ऊपर? हाँ, मैं उसमें जता गया था तो दूसरा आदमी सीट हटा के निकाला मेरे को बाहर।
आप देखिए यहाँ पे देखिए किस तरह से लेटा के भी ट्रीटमेंट किया जा रहा है। अलग अलग जगह से लोग हैं और देखिए जनरल बॉगीज में ज्यादातर वैसे लोग हैं जिनको जो है जो या तो काम करने जा रहे थे, ज्यादातर जो है वहाँ पे माइग्रेंट टाइप के हैं जो राजमिस्त्री का काम करते हैं, कुली का काम करते हैं।
एक्चुअली वो गाड़ी स्पीड में था और धीरे धीरे ठक ठक आवाज आने लगा। आवाज आ रहा था जी। हाँ, उसके बाद खिसक गया। मैं बोला कि वो ऐसे ही खिसक गया, बस रुक जाएगा, लेकिन तो वो पलट मारने लगा। पलटी मारने लगा जी। अच्छा, उसके बाद तो पूरा चुमार हो गया, उसको पूरा चीख पुकार मच गया जी। फादर का कुछ पता नहीं चल रहा। नहीं।
Meanwhile, even as the tragedy unfolds, even as the death toll rises, the politics and the blame game by our netas continues unabated. Now the RJD, that's Lalu Prasad's party, has torn into Prime Minister Modi over the deadly Odisha train accident. The RJD says the Prime Minister is busy in photo ops. No one knows who the rail mantri is. The RJD has called the Modi a narcissist Prime Minister. That's the latest barb that's just come in. Sudhanshu Sarangi is the DGP Fire in Odisha. He joins me live for a quick on-ground update of where things are at. Mrs. Sarangi, thank you for speaking to India today. Can you give us an update, sir, of the relief operations that are taking place on the ground? Okay, we've lost that line. We'll get back to it in just a moment right now. Getting back to very momentarily, because viewer, I don't want to dwell too much on this useless politics by useless netas at a time like this, where they're talking about narcissists, etc., and especially a party like the RJD. Let's go across to West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. She's live at the accident site. She's just reached.
আপনি তো বলেছেন রেল ব্যবস্থা নিয়ে, এটা নিয়ে কি বলবেন? রেল ব্যবস্থা নিয়ে কি বলবেন? পরে বলবো।
Banerjee, she's just reached the hospital area. I'm taking a guess that this looks like the area where the hospital is. Trying to get a word in from Mamata Banerjee. She hasn't said very much. Remember, the Prime Minister will be reaching very, very shortly as well. Rescue and relief operations at the accident site have been completed. The Railways has confirmed to India Today that the rescue and relief operations are completed, in the sense that all bodies and all injured persons have been removed from the accident site involving these 3 trains, and they've been taken to the hospital. The bodies have been taken to the morgue as well, and identification is underway. This is a heartrending, tragic unfolding story that we're bringing to you live from Balasore in Odisha. The Chief Minister of West Bengal, you just saw her. She's on site. We're expecting that she will speak in just a short while from now. Naveen Patnaik is also there. We also had the Prime Minister speak a short while ago. He's going to be reaching in the next couple of hours. There are 2 union ministers on the ground. Take a look at these drone images, viewer, of the tragedy. This is one defining image that nobody is going to forget in a hurry. I want to show you those drone pictures for a moment to let you take in the scale of this tragedy. Just look at how spread out the damage is. Just look at where the bogies have landed. That gives you a sense of the speed at which the trains were traveling when the derailment and the collision took place. It is still unbelievable that this tragedy has involved 3 trains, not 1, not 2, but 3 trains. And that gives you a sense of why the death toll is so high. At over 280 and counting, this makes it India's worst train tragedy in the last decade and one of the worst train tragedies in the country ever. India Today's Ritik Mondal, one of the first reporters on the accident site, sent us this report. And we're constantly getting more reports from our reporters, so stand by for the very latest.
और मैं आपको ये जरूर एक विषय है जो मैं दिखाना चाहूंगा। अभी भी बहुत सारे लोग आ रहे हैं, इनमें से ज्यादातर लोग तो उत्सुक लोग हैं, लेकिन कई सारे लोग ये देखने आ रहे हैं अगर उन्हें कोई मदद उनके तरफ से कोई अगर मदद की जा सकती है तो आप वहीं पे रुक जाइए। मैं जरा दिखाऊंगा यहाँ से कि किस तरीके की स्थिति है। ये जो बोगी है ये बिल्कुल, ये जरा देखिए, बहुत ही खराब। थोड़ा श्याम इधर आइए, जरा देखिए और मैं दर्शकों को समझाऊंगा। ये रेलवे के पटरी है, शायद इस तरीके की छवि हम मूवीज में देखते होंगे। इतना भीषण रहा कि रेलवे के पटरी, ये जो बोगी है उसके जो निचला वाला हिस्सा है उसको फाड़ कर मानो जैसे फालानुमा एक स्थिति पैदा हुआ और ऊपर तक, बिल्कुल इस डब्बे के ऊपर तक पहुंचती है। ये बहुत ही दर्दनाक और ये स्पष्ट बयां करने वाला हिस्सा है कितना भीषण ये हादसा। आप देख सकते हैं 2 छेद जो है यहाँ पर हो चुका है। ये रेलवे की पटरी है जो टूटकर नीचे से ऊपर तक पहुंच जाती है और इस तरीके से तहस तहस करते हुए कितना भीषण ये हादसा है ये स्पष्ट दिखा रहा है। ये एक ऐसा कमरा है जो सबसे ज्यादा नुकसान जिससे पहुंचा है। वो तस्वीर जरूर देखने हम समझ सकते हैं कि अगर वहां पर कोई खड़ा होगा तो उनका क्या स्थिति हुई होगी। हम धीरे धीरे जैसे आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, हम देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर जो निशान लोग अपने बिस्तर वगैरह यहाँ पर फेंक कर चले गए, चलिए हम वहां तक पहुंच गए हैं जहाँ पर जी हम देख सकते हैं जितने भी यहाँ पर इस कोच के अंदर जो चीजें हैं रेलवे की तरफ से दी गई, जो पिलोज और जो चीजें हैं वो बिखरी पड़ी हुई है। आगे हम बढ़ेंगे तो देखेंगे और एक दूसरा कोच, ये एसी कोच है, कंपार्टमेंट जो बिल्कुल तहस नहस हो चुका है। थोड़ा बचते बचाते आइएगा सैम, और हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। अभी भी एनडीआरएफ के जवान जो है वो यहाँ पर पहुंच रहे और इन सब बोगियों के जरिए वो अंदर जाकर तलाश कर रहे हैं कि कोई फंसा तो नहीं है, क्योंकि आगे वाला जो कमरा है बिल्कुल बिखर चुका है। वैसे ही एक कमरे के अंदर से हम जा रहे हैं जहाँ पर रेलवे सुरक्षा का जो पुलिस है वो भी तैनात है। जरा देखिए यहाँ पर जो चीजें हम देख सकते हैं बिल्कुल बिखरी पड़ी हुई। जरा देख लीजिए, शाम का वक्त था, नाश्ता चल रहा था और उस बाद ये हादसा हो गया। उसका जो निशान स्पष्ट देखा जा सकता है। अब इससे आगे जाना थोड़ा बेहद मुश्किल है हमारे लिए, क्योंकि इसके आगे वाला जो बोगी है, जो डिब्बा है, वो बिल्कुल इस तरफ हिल चुका है। जरा समझिए, इस ट्रेन के अंदर अगर हम जाने की कोशिश करें तो ये हम समझ सकते हैं बहुत ही मुश्किल भरी बात होगी, लेकिन देखकर तो लग रहा है कि इस ट्रेन से जो सवारी थे वो बच निकले थे। लेकिन ये बहुत ही मुश्किल भरा एक चीज है और ये हमने जितने लोगों से बात की, खासकर मैं जब यहाँ पर पहुंचा तो कल रात जो इस ट्रेन के पीछे वाले हिस्से में जो रेलवे के स्टाफ थे, उन्होंने हमें बताया कि कितना भीषण यहाँ पर इतना भीषण एक आवाज हुआ। उसके बाद जो है उन्होंने देखा कि लोग किस तरीके से तितर बितर होकर बाहर कूदने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, कितने लोगों को उन्हें घायल अवस्था में निकाला और कितने लोगों को यहाँ पर फंसे होते उन्हें निकाला, और कई सारे लोगों की मौत उनके सामने हुई क्योंकि वो पीछे वाले जो बॉगीज है उसमें सफर कर रहे थे, तो उससे वो बच निकले।
The political attacks on Prime Minister Modi over the Odisha train tragedy are multiplying with each passing hour after Lalu Prasad's RJD. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has slammed the Prime Minister over the deadly Odisha crash. The Prime Minister, remember, is headed to Balasore as we speak and will be landing at the accident site in a couple of hours from now. The Aam Aadmi Party has said Modi will pin the blame on Nehru. Prime Minister is busy in photo ops. No one knows who the Rail Mantri is, says Lalu Prasad's RJD, calling the Prime Minister a narcissist Prime Minister. So the RJD, Lalu Prasad's party, and the Aam Aadmi Party of Arvind Kejriwal, both in a coordinated twin attack on Prime Minister Modi, blaming him for the Odisha train tragedy. Only to be expected at an emotive time when emotions are running high. The politics will play out. This is, after all, a democracy. The Prime Minister is headed there. Remember that Ashwini Vaishnav, the railway minister, reached late last night and has been there since this morning. Poulomi Saha is with us on this. Poulomi, obviously, the blame game continues. The Prime Minister, fair game at this point of time, even as he heads to Odisha. The RJD and the Aam Aadmi Party taking their pot shots now.
That's right. The RJD basically said that there was a time earlier when you knew who the country's railways minister was. There were so many job opportunities in the railways as well. The railway budget was in fact separately produced and presented before the people as opposed to being clubbed with the union budget. But now is the time when there's only one name and everyone thinks that one name is responsible for the railways department as well. And that is, of course, alluding and attacking and taking pot shots at the Prime Minister, saying he is basically a prachar mantri, a publicity minister. At the end of the day, it's all about inaugurating and flagging off new trains and not about strengthening basic, already existing railways infrastructure. So the politics is already broken out over this very tragic incident. At least, fortunately, the Congress party, for instance, Jairam Ramesh has tweeted that we should wait to raise the questions that need to be raised and justifiably raised about what exactly happened and why has such a tragedy taken place in 2023 India. But today it should be all about the rescue and relief efforts, and it should be about our sympathies for those who are grieving the loss of their loved ones.
Poulomi, thanks very much for that. Lots of political reactions have been coming in since late last night. Let's just update all of our viewers on what opposition leaders have been saying.
Doing their job, but they are trying to politicize it. I think it is not the right time to politicize this kind of incident. Central government, especially the railway department, is taking care of all these things. And we also thank the Naveen Patnaik ji. His government has done an excellent job.
ये इस देश की नहीं, दुनिया की, इस शताब्दी की भीषणतम रेल दुर्घटना है। मैं सरकार से आग्रह करूंगा कि मुआवजे के लिए मृतकों को अधिक से अधिक दे, जिससे जीवन यापन कर सकें, और जो घायल विकलांग हो गए उन पर भी एक अलग से नजरिया रहे।
It's a very, very painful morning to wake up to. We have lost many lives this morning in a very unfortunate train accident. I would request the railways and the state authorities to intervene, help every person who's hurt. I request all the doctors and the administration to try our best and save every life that we possibly can. But a very, very unfortunate incident, and I would request the Railway Mantralaya and Government of India to set up a high-powered committee to find out why this accident.
रेलवे में सफर तय करते हैं तो उसमें अगर ध्यान सही ढंग से नहीं दिया जाना, ये सबसे बड़ा गलती है जिसके फल हम भुगत रहे हैं, नतीजा भुगत रहे हैं। और इसलिए भुगत रहे हैं कि ये रेलवे की तरफ से यात्री सुरक्षा को लेकर ध्यान में थोड़ा कमजोर पड़ गए हैं। सिग्नल की बात, सिग्नलिंग मानो, ये ट्रैकिंग मानो, बड़ी बड़ी बात कही जाती है कि हम एंटी कोलिशन डिवाइस लगाते हैं, कवच लगाते हैं, कवच में सब कुछ को रोक देगा। तो कहाँ कवच है भाई? एक के बाद एक 3 ट्रेन एक साथ हादसे में जुट गए, तो कवच कहाँ है? ये आज की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिग्नल के सिस्टम में इतने सारे निरीक्षण की सारे हमारे पास सारे हमारे मशीनरीज है, सारे इक्विपमेंट है, सारे इंग्रेडिएंट्स है, फिर भी क्यों नहीं हम सफल हो रहे हैं ये हादसा को रोकने के लिए? गलती कहाँ है? एक कमेटी बना दोगे और 2-4 को बोली का बकरी बना दोगे। आप जानते हैं कि जो लोग सुरक्षा में सबसे ज्यादा भागीदारी लेते हैं वहां कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर आ चुके हैं। कर्मियों की संख्या में कटौती किए जाते हैं रेल की पैसा बचाने के लिए। तो रेल की पैसा बचाने के चलते कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर जहां जहां हमारे उपयोगी व्यक्तियों को जरूरत होते हैं वहां कटौती के चलते वो नहीं है। हजारों तादाद की पोस्टिंग खाली पड़े हैं, तो बचाएगा कौन? सुरक्षा देगी कौन? सुरक्षा की सारे इंतजाम करेगा कौन? और इसका नतीजा हम भुगत रहे हैं। तो इसलिए हम देश की सरकार को ये गुहार लगाना चाहते हैं कि बुलेट ट्रेन तो होगा, कब होगा पता नहीं, बुलेट ट्रेन है और बेसिक चीजें हैं। बुलेट को ज्यादा तवज्जो दिया जाओगे या बेसिक चीजों पे ज्यादा ध्यान दिया जाएगा, ये सवाल आज खड़ा हो गए हैं। मैं ये
3 ट्रेनें टकरा गई, ये बियर निग्लिजेंस है, बेफिक्री है। तो जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? जिम्मेदारी रेलवे मंत्रालय की है। लाल बहादुर शास्त्री जब रेलवे मंत्री थे, रेलवे का हिस्सा हो गया, इस्तीफा दिया नैतिकता के आधार पर। माधवराव सिंधिया विमान उड़ान मंत्री थे, हादसा हो गया, इस्तीफा दे दिया। लेकिन इस सरकार में इतना बड़ा हादसा होने के बावजूद मंत्री जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेता है। हाँ, नैतिकता के आधार पर मंत्री ने इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
So many people have died, and our heart really goes to the bereaved family. And this is not the time to really talk about anything other than sympathy, number one. Number two, we also need, which the government is doing its best, whether it's the government of Odisha or central government, to minimize the casualty. There are a lot of people still in the hospital, and we need a lot of doctors, we need a lot of medicines, we need a lot of some such stuff. So I think the priority has to be to save maximum lives and nothing beyond that. It's a sad day.
And viewer, I now want you to look at this image. Just take a look at that image. Let's make that the full image on our screen right now of those men, all of them queuing up to donate their blood. Hundreds of men in the Balasore area have queued up since last night to donate blood. This is an image of selflessness that we will keep coming back to. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee speaking. I'll come right back to this.
मैं जो देखा अभी तक रेलवे में एक 20 शताब्दी का सबसे बड़ा इंसिडेंट है। 1981 में और एक बड़ा इंसिडेंट हुआ था बिहार में। हमारा टाइम में भी माओइस्ट एक इंसिडेंट बनाया था, वो हम सीआईडी को दे दिया, आज तक कुछ फल नहीं मिला। बात यही है कि रेलवे का सेफ्टी कमीशन है। जब रेलवे का ऐसा इंसिडेंट होता है तो रेलवे सेफ्टी कमीशन को दे देता है। वो लोग इन्वेस्टिगेशन करते हैं और इन्वेस्टिगेशन करके रिपोर्ट देते हैं। था मैंने एंटी कोल्यूशन डिवाइस तैयार किया था। मैं खुद मडगांव में गया था, गोवा में, तब से रेल का इंसिडेंट कम किया था, एक्सीडेंट एकदम। वो ऐसा है एंटी कॉल्यूशन डिवाइस कि एक लाइन में 2 ट्रेन आ जाएगा तो उसमें रुक जाएगा। अगर कोई ट्रेन सामने पड़ा है तो रुक जाएगा। अगर कोई कुछ भी हो सकता है, एंटी कॉल्यूशन डिवाइस डाइवर्स हो जाएगा तो उसको अलर्ट करेगा। लेकिन मैं जब रेल मिनिस्टर इधर में है तो मैं यही कहने चाहूंगा, आप देख लीजिए, इसमें एंटी कॉल्यूशन डिवाइस नहीं लगाया जितना तक मेरे का जानकारी है। अगर एंटी कॉल्यूशन डिवाइस लगाता था तो वही इंसिडेंट नहीं होता। अगर जो हो गया है, जिसका प्राण चला गया है, उसको जिंदगी तो नहीं मिलेगा। लेकिन अभी हमारा काम है रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन, रेस्टोरेशन ऑफ द नॉर्मलसी। जो परिवार मर गया, हर परिवार और को नौकरी दिया था। रेलवे का एक सिस्टम है, कोई इंसिडेंट होने से वो लोग 15 लाख रुपया करके देता है। कितना? 10 ना 15? 10 देता है अभी 10 देता है। हर स्टेट का जो आदमी मर गया, हर स्टेट तो उसको मदद करेगा। फिर हमारा स्टेट से ज्यादा है, हम भी वो परिवार को हमारा स्टेट का जो है 5 लाख करके हम देंगे। और रेलवे के साथ, गवर्नमेंट का साथ, उड़ीसा गवर्नमेंट का साथ कोऑपरेशन करके रेलवे का साथ हम पूरा काम करेंगे जब तक काम खत्म नहीं होगा। हमने भी 70 एम्बुलेंस आज भेजा, कल भी 40 भेजा था। हमारा 40 डॉक्टर इधर में पहुंच चुका है, काम कर रहा है। हमारा सिस्टर भी काम कर रहा है। और हम 2 बस भेजा था, उसमें जो थोड़ा सा इंज्योर्ड है वो बंगाल में वापस चला गया। और हम रेल को भी कहने चाहूंगी कि अगर 2 कैसे जाएगा, अभी तो इसमें रास्ता क्लियर नहीं होने से नहीं होगा।
ऑलरेडी बालेश्वर से कोलकाता और इधर जोरों से भुवनेश्वर की तरफ लगातार शटल चल रही है। जो भी पेशेंट या जो भी पेशेंट्स के पैसेंजर्स के रिलेटिव्स।
দেখুন, এসব কোশ্চেনের উত্তর আপনাদের আমি রেস্কিউর পরে বলবো, আজকে বলার টাইম নয়। এখন মানুষ রেস্কিউ করুন তাদের। বাংলার মানুষকে আমি বলবো, যেসব পরিবার মারা গেছে, যেসব পরিবার রাস্তায় আছেন, যেসব পরিবার ইনজিওর্ড হয়ে গেছে, তাদের সকলকে আমরা অলরেডি আমাদের নাম্বার দিয়েছি। আমাদের 24 ঘন্টা মনিটরিং চলছে। তার এবং এখানে আমাদের 50 জন অফিসারের টিম আছে এবং হেলথের টিম আছে, ডক্টর আছে, তাদের বললেই হবে। তাছাড়া পশ্চিম মিদনাপুরের টিম আছে, বালেশ্বর, জলেশ্বর, মিদনাপুরের বর্ডারে। আর তাছাড়াও যারা খুব সিরিয়াস ইনজিওর্ড আমাদের, ওদেরও 1 লাখ টাকা করে আমরা দেবো। আর যাদের হয়তো অল্প লেগেছে তাদের 50,000 টাকা করে দেবো। আর যদি সিরিয়াস পেশেন্ট এখানে জায়গা না পায় বা অন্যান্য পেশেন্ট, আমি তাদের কলকাতায় নিয়ে গিয়ে ট্রিটমেন্ট করার ব্যবস্থা করবো। কারণ আমাদের উই হ্যাভ সো মেনি।
On where it's happening and what preparations are there on the ground. We've got a live report from where the injured are being treated as well. That's next. Stay with India Today's rolling coverage.
ये बहुत ही दर्दनाक और ये स्पष्ट बयां करने वाला हिस्सा है।
डेड बॉडी है, अभी तक निकलता नहीं, कभी अभी है। हम लोग मिलके बहुत सारे रेस्क्यू किए।
ये रेलवे की पटरी है जो टूटकर नीचे से ऊपर तक पहुंच जाती है।
There's a new club in Hollywood, the Old Dads Club. And leading the pack, a Godfather duo, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. 83-year-old star Al Pacino sent shockwaves across the globe, announcing his fourth child with 29-year-old girlfriend Noura Falla. Pacino and his girlfriend have allegedly been dating since the COVID-19 pandemic era, and this will be their first child. Just days before Pacino announced his impending fatherhood, his Godfather co-star and Hollywood legend Robert De Niro had his own surprise. 79-year-old De Niro casually announced to the world that he had become a father for the 7th time with his 45-year-old girlfriend Tiffany Chen. And the internet is abuzz with memes over the news of Al Pacino's new journey. Some are even calling it a competition between the two Hollywood icons. But clearly, 83-year-old Al Pacino has outdone his close friend Robert in the dad stakes, proving age is just a number. Bureau Report, India Today.
You are watching India Today.
$280 people have died, over 1,000 are injured, many of them fighting for their lives. The death toll, viewer, is very likely to go up. That is the sad truth of what has happened in Balasore, Odisha, with the collision of 3 separate trains, 2 passenger trains and 1 goods trains. The Prime Minister is en route. He will be landing there very shortly. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, 2 union ministers and senior officials are on site. We've got more breaking news now. More senior leaders arriving in Balasore. The latest now that we're getting to you is Udayanidhi Stalin, Tamil Nadu MLA, son of the Chief Minister, has arrived in Balasore to take stock of the situation. Remember, the Coromandel Express was headed from Kolkata's Shalimar station to Chennai Central. So many of those passengers were Chennai bound. And that's the reason why you see Udayanidhi Stalin now arriving in Balasore. We don't know yet if the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister will also be arriving, but Udayanidhi Stalin, his son and Tamil Nadu MLA, has just arrived in Balasore. That's him in white there, speaking to the press very, very briefly. And this is a relief train. Live images coming to you of a relief train bringing survivors of the accident to the Howrah station in West Bengal. Live images, viewer. Many of these people are lucky to have escaped with their lives. 280 people have died. These are survivors of the train tragedy who've been just dropped back to Howrah by an accident relief train. Remember, accident relief trains are designed to reach accident sites as quickly as possible. They can pick up survivors and move them as quickly as possible. Rajesh Saha is our reporter. He's live with us from the site where these survivors have just been dropped back to Howrah. Rajesh, these people have escaped with their lives. They are the lucky survivors.
Exactly, they are so lucky because they have survived from the accident, and the accident occurred yesterday at Balasore of Odisha, and all those passengers who got minor injured, and all those passengers who were discharged from the hospitals are being taken on this train. This is a special rescue train has just arrived and at a Howrah station in Kolkata, and all those passengers are getting down from the train, and we will try to speak. Excuse me, we train पे थे ना आप?
मेरा नाम जमाल शेख है।
हाँ, उस ट्रेन में क्या हुआ था?
उस ट्रेन में वो जो हम लोग आ रहा था ना उधर से, वो एक माल गाड़ी है ना उधर से धक्का मारा। हाँ, धक्का मार के आपको एक गाड़ी को एक बॉगी को तच कर दिया, 3 बॉगी को ऊपर से किधर फेंक दिया वो मालूम नहीं मेरे को।
अच्छा,
हाँ, हम लोग की गाड़ी थे था।
और फिर आपने क्या देखा? क्या कर रहे थे?
मैं गाड़ी पे था, मेरे को बहुत घिस लगा था। मैं तो उस टाइम पर बोला था गाड़ी का कुछ हो गया। हाँ, फिर जाके देखा ऐसे हुआ।
जब टकराई पट्टी से उतर गई तब क्या फील होता है आपका?
हम लोग सामने था, इंजन है ना, इंजन का पीछे था हम लोग। हाँ, उस टाइम पर आपका ऐसे हुआ। हाँ,
आपका कोई चोट तो नहीं लगा?
मेरे को कुछ चोट नहीं लगा, लेकिन कितना आदमी से मारा ये मालूम नहीं, बहुत लोग मारा था।
ठीक है। बस अब आप उस ट्रेन में थे ना? आप उस ट्रेन में थे? हाँ। अब क्या हुआ था एक बार बोलिए।
वो ट्रेन हो गया था, उसके बाद बेहोश हो गया हम लोग।
अब बेहोश हो गए थे? क्या हुआ था पहले?
पहले कचरा बाहर से आ रहा था। कचरा बाहर से आ रहा था तो ट्रेन उल्टी हो गया।
ट्रेन उलट गई थी। फिर आपका कोई चोट लगा?
मेरा सिर्फ पैर में लगा।
पैर पे चोट लगा? हाँ। मतलब आप उसी ट्रेन पे आ रहे हैं ना?
इसी में आया इसमें।
क्या हुआ था थोड़ा सा बताइए आपका?
वो तो कोरोमंडल जाके धक्का मार दिया आप लोगों पर बोगी में, लास्ट वाला बोगी में। ड्राइवर अच्छा था बट स्पीड में टर्न लेवल बच गया बहुत आदमी।
अब यशवंतपुर में थे? कोरोमंडल
यशवंतपुर में था आप लोग। क्या देखा हम लोग जो उतर के देख रहे थे 7:30 बजे तक गाड़ी देखे 4 बोगी, मेरा बोगी नहीं है पूरा, 4 बोगी आउट है पूरा। उसके बाद कोरोमंडल से 13 बोगी पूरा चकनाचूर हो गया पूरा। हम लोग ड्राइवर अभी अच्छा था बोल के हम लोग बचा दिया, जानते थे हम लोग का स्पीड हम लोग भी जान चला जाता। पूरा 6-8 घंटा उतरे थे आप लोग। रात भर देखे पूरा रेलवे से हेल्प मिला हम लोग को, बहुत अच्छा मिला उड़ीसा का तरफ से हेल्प मिला, बहुत अच्छा मिला, बहुत सहयोगिता भी मिला हम लोग को। फिर रात को 5-10 बजे छोड़ा गाड़ी, तो बालेश्वर में आके सबको टिफिन पानी उन्हें सब मिला, सब अच्छा हुआ, रात मिला सबको। ना कहीं कुछ ना, आराम है, सुरक्षित हम लोग है। कुछ आदमी को लगा हुआ है।
And one of the injured passengers are being taken to the medical camp, has been installed at the Howrah station. You can see one of the injured passenger. We'll try to speak with the injured passenger. He's being taken to the medical camp, and a medical camp has been set up for primary treatment. Primary treatment has been set up at the platform number 8 of Howrah station, and all that more than 10 doctors are here to provide medical assistance to all those injured passengers over here. The doctors are from Dr. B.R. Singh Hospital, Railway Hospital, and few doctors are from Orthopedic Hospital in Howrah, and more than 10 ambulances are ready here to take all those injured passengers to the nearest hospital. And you can see the visual, one of the injured passengers have been taken to the medical camp. Excuse me. आप इधर
वहाँ पे गाड़ी आया, टकरा गया, ठीक है, वो चोट लगा, उसमें पता नहीं लग पाया, किसे लगा, सीट ऊपर वाला सीट जो है नीचे गिरा, उससे लग गया, इसमें ज्यादा लग गया है। उसमें उस समय निकलते समय पता नहीं लगा तो कैसे निकल रहे हैं, हम लोग उसको पकड़ के बाहर निकाले हैं। उसमें वहाँ के लोग जो है बहुत मदद किया हम लोगों को, वही पट्टी उल्टी करवाया है।
जब मालगाड़ी से टकरी गई, जब पट्टी से उतर गई, तब क्या हुआ था?
बचने का कोई उपाय नहीं था।
आपने क्या देखा?
क्या जी?
आपने क्या देखा?
देखा यही जो बहुत कुछ बचने का उपाय नहीं था, पूरा डब्बा हुआ कुछ नहीं बचा, सब मिट्टी मिल गया।
कंपार्टमेंट में थे?
S1 में थे, S1 डी में।
क्या हुआ जब घटना घटी, परिस्थिति क्या थी उस समय?
उसमें कुछ पता नहीं लगा, चोट सबको लगा हुआ है, जी वो जो ऊपर उसमें सबको चक्कर ऊपर आ गया था। नहीं सो नहीं रहे थे, जागे हुए थे।
आपको कौन निकाला वहाँ से?
हम लोग ट्रेन में वेट किया था, बाद में ये मॉर्निंग में ट्रेन निकल के इधर आ गया। अब मेरा नाम शुभम सदुगर।
Okay, we'll just get back to Rajesh Saha. These are images of survivors of the train accident who've just arrived back at the Howrah station in Kolkata. Many of these people injured, but most of them lucky to have escaped without any injuries at all. They've been dropped back by an accident relief train to Howrah. Let's just try and
ट्रेन धरते हुए उधर ना एसएमबीटी में थे। हाँ। घटना केवल क्या होता है, जो पास से ही जा रहा था, वो सामने मालगाड़ी थी, उसको ट्रैक डिरेल होके पीछे लग गया। मेरा नाम देवराज चक्रवर्ती।
Okay, so we're going to get you all of those voices from the Howrah station of many of the survivors of this accident in just a moment from now. I also want to take you now right back to Balasore. The images you saw were in Howrah. Now I want to take you back to Balasore, where these images, just take a very close look at this image, viewer. These are images of brave young citizens, locals, men and women, lining up to donate blood for the hundreds of people who've been injured. They've been lining up since late last night, and they are still currently in line donating their blood, because they know that the requirement for blood is going to be gargantuan, considering the scale of the tragedy and the number of people who've been injured, many of them still fighting for their lives. India salutes all of these brave citizens of Balasore who saw nothing in dropping everything and lining up in queues for hours to donate their valuable blood for their fellow citizens. This is humanity, this is grit, this is bravery. India Today's Satyajit captures it in this report.
अंदर देखिए आप यहाँ पे किस तरह से जो है लोग आ रहे हैं, अपने टर्न का इंतजार कर रहे हैं और ब्लड डोनेट कर रहे हैं। किसी का कोई परिजन जो है वो भर्ती नहीं है। अंदर आप देखिए, अंदर जो है आप देख सकते हैं, अंदर जो है लगातार ब्लड लिया जा रहा है और इस ब्लड को वॉलंटरली डोनेट किया जा रहा है, ताकि जो इंजरीज हुई है और अगर किसी को खून की जरूरत है तो खून की कमी से कोई किसी को कुछ ना हो, कुछ अनटूवर्ड उसके साथ ना हो, इसके लिए ये लंबी भीड़ दिख रही है। ऐसा जाहिर तौर पे कम ही देखने और सुनने को मिलता है।
In about an hour and a half from now, the Prime Minister will be landing in Balasore to take personal stock of the situation amidst a great deal of political anger against the government for this tragedy. Ashwini Vaishnav, the railway minister, is already on site. 2 chief ministers, 2 union ministers, several officials. Udaynidhi Stalin, the latest to arrive in Balasore. The rescue and relief operations, viewer, to update you, has been completed, which means that all humans have been removed from the accident site, and they are in hospital at this point of time. Tragically, the death toll has mounted to beyond 280. We will have an official figure for you in just a short while from now. The heroes of the NDRF and rescue and relief teams are working tirelessly to try and clear the tracks as well. Restoration operations has already ensued to clear the tracks. Remember, all of these bogies will now need to be moved. Many of them are mangled messes. They'll need to be moved from that site, and it's going to take a while before the line is clear for train traffic once again. But as of now, we can confirm to you that the relief operations on site have been successfully completed. And I use the word successful only in the technical sense, because I mean that people have been removed from that site and are being treated. But this doesn't take away from the fact that the tragedy is a gargantuan one. 280 people have died. Ritik Mondal is on site with us from Balasore. He's been reporting from late last night. He was one of the first journalists to reach the site, and he's been witness to the unfolding tragedy overnight. Ritik, Prime Minister Modi headed to Balasore. He's going to be there in about an hour or so. What kind of preparations are happening on the ground? The railways have informed us that the rescue or relief operations from the site have been completed, Ritik.
Well, exactly, Shiv, that there was a hope against hope that this relief operation, which took several hours to concluded, and we were given to understand since this morning, as per the top officials, particularly from army, that several army jawans were also deployed for the rescue operation. We did know that several people were also trapped inside the debris of those coaches. And what we know that the rescue operations have been concluded. Most of the people who were trapped and most of the bodies have been evacuated from the debris. And what we know that Prime Minister is expected to arrive here, within an hour, because we did see that since this morning several choppers of air forces are taking a round in the location. We are given to understand where we are standing. On the right, on the other side of the railway track, there has been a makeshift helipad ground has been established for the landing of the choppers, in which the Prime Minister will be landing here, will be reaching here, and we expect his arrival by 4:30. That's the time what we are being told. So these are the situations as of now. We did see that the Chief Minister of Odisha visited this place. Of course, Chief Minister of West Bengal also visited the spot where this massive accident took place. Remember, several people who were traveling through this train on this particularly on those trains. One Jashwantpur Express, another Coromandel Express resides belongs to Bengal, and they reside in Bengal, which is why it was a matter of concern for the West Bengal government. And Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee herself landed here, reached to the spot. She also rushed her own team late last night, and top cops and top officials of our government were also pushed in to assist the rescue operation, to assist the people to meet their kin, because there are people who were looking for their own kins.
Okay.
Whereabouts, where their treatments are going on. So
Ritik, one of the biggest questions that a lot of people are asking, and those who understand the railways well, one of the first questions that exploded, especially on social media here on India Today last night when both of us were talking, was where was the anti-collision system on this train track? Where were the lines? Ritik, stay with me. I'm going to come back to you in a moment, because we just had an exclusive conversation with Sudhanshu Mani. He's the creator and father of Train 18, Vande Bharat Express. He sheds light on the importance of Kavach. That is what this indigenous anti-collision system is. And he talks about how this tragic mishap could have been stopped if the Kavach system was present on this route. Was it present on this route at all? Watch this exclusive.
इसमें जो मेन खामी जो हुई है, जिसका रीजन अभी नहीं बात करनी चाहिए क्योंकि अभी इंक्वायरी होनी है, ये पहली ट्रेन क्यों डिरेल हुई? ये कोई सिग्नलिंग फेलियर नहीं लगता है, ये कोई ड्राइवर का भी फॉल्ट नहीं लगता मुझे। प्रिलिमिनरी ये कह सकते हैं कि कोरोमंडल के ड्राइवर को कितना रिएक्शन टाइम मिला ब्रेक करने के लिए जब उसने ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन देखा। मेरे ख्याल से उसको कोई रिएक्शन टाइम नहीं मिला, और वो सेकंड्स के अंदर ही वो ट्रेन ये इधर डिरेल हुई और इधर से ये आ गई। व्हाई दिस एक्सीडेंट कुड हैव बीन प्रोवाइडेड इट कवच वाज प्रेजेंट? I say no, it would not have been avoided. Prima facie, what I see, it is not a case of signal violation by the driver. It is not a case of head-on collision of two trains. It is a case of derailment of a train, perhaps, as it seems, in the station yard on a straight line due to whatever reason. And that is something that Kavach would not prevent. Prevention of that is possible only through good maintenance practices for the track and coaches.
India Today's Anirban was at the accident site where the mangled heap of those bogies is waiting now to be removed from that traffic site. Take a look at this report. And once again, I tell our viewers, viewer discretion is advised.
The situation is very serious, and right now we are in one of the compartment that is been derailed, and also this compartment is tilted, and you can see here the seats of the compartment. The seats is the upper berth is hanging, and also that was just a evening, and people are having evening snacks, that puffed rice, and all the luggages are there. And also you can see just inside, I will tell Prashun to come just inside of this train, and you can see all the seats are hanging, everything get destroyed in a minute, in a minute, and everything get destroyed over this situation. And the situation is very serious, as the 3 trains collided, and after that NDRF team and all our Indian Army and everyone is on the rescue operation. Till now 380 plus death tolls, and 900 injured people over there, and NDRF team, and also the civil defense team, and Indian Air Force, and also Indian Army. Everyone is doing the rescue operation right now, and it is all about 12 hours passed by, and people are in the rescue operation in this accident area.
Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, very ironically, was to have been inaugurating a Vande Bharat Express in Goa today. Last night, he cancelled all of those plans and he headed straight to Balasore. Here's what the Railway Minister told India Today.
जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल हेल्थ फैसिलिटी होगी वो दी जाएगी. कंपनसेशन का अमाउंट कल रात में रेलवे की तरफ से डिक्लेयर हो गया था. एक हाई लेवल कमेटी भी ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर हो गई है, जो कि इस पूरे एक्सीडेंट में इंक्वायरी करेगी. कमिश्नर रेल सेफ्टी को भी बुलाया गया है, वो भी इंक्वायरी करेंगे और इस प्रॉब्लम के, इस एक्सीडेंट के रूट कॉज में जाएंगे.
I am deeply distressed by this extremely tragic train accident. I have to thank the local people, the local teams and others who have worked overnight to save people from the wreckage. The people have been taken to hospitals here in Balasore, also in Cuttack, so that they recover as fast as possible.
ये देखिए, ये मानवीय गलती से हुआ है या टेक्निकल कारण हुआ है, इसके लिए एक हाई लेवल कमेटी की भी घोषणा रेल प्रशासन ने कर दी है. और हमारे कमिश्नर रेलवे के जो सेफ्टी देखते हैं वो उनको भी वहाँ बुलाया गया है. ये कमेटी जांच करेगी, तभी इसका पता चलेगा. स्थानीय प्रशासन और रेल प्रशासन भी मदद कर रहा है, स्थानीय लोग भी मदद कर रहे हैं. और जो इंजर्ड है या जो मृत है उनको नज़दीक जो भी हॉस्पिटल है, फिर उड़ीसा में कटक हो, भुवनेश्वर हो, बालेश्वर हो, कलकत्ता हो, एम्स हो, उस हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट करने का काम चल रहा है. और हमारी फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी है कि इन लोगों को हॉस्पिटलाइज करना.
अनेक बंधुओं की दुर्भाग्यजनक स्थिति में मृत्यु भी हुई है. उन सारे मृतकों के प्रति हम संवेदना जताते हैं. रेल विभाग की ओर से 10 लाख रुपया की राशि की अनुदान घोषणा किया गया है मृतकों के लिए. अभी खबर आ रही है मीडिया में, प्रधानमंत्री रिलीफ फंड से भी कुछ सहायता मिली है. ये दुर्भाग्यजनक हुआ, नहीं होना चाहिए था ये, लेकिन कुछ तकनीकी कारण से ये हुई है. रेल विभाग उस पे इंक्वायरी कमेटी बिठाई है. रेल मंत्री जी ने स्वयं आज सुबह से आके यहाँ डटे हैं, यहाँ खड़े हुए हैं, वो सारे विषय को खुद देख रहे हैं. रेल विभाग के सारे वरिष्ठ अधिकारी अभी तो सबको रिस्टोरेशन और रेस्क्यू काम पे हम लगा रहे हैं. पूरा भारत सरकार की, राज्य सरकार की सारे एजेंसी रेस्क्यू की काम पे लगे हैं.
There are 2 bogies which are causing problem. They have been basically rammed into each other, and it was decided to be extremely careful in cutting those bogies. They can't be just taken out using cranes. Cause of accident is a subject which is not within the state government's purview, and therefore we have not gone into it. And then again, this is not the time when one should go after the causes rather than looking into rescue and ensuring availability of health services to them.
Horror is still unfolding. It'll very soon be 24 hours since this tragedy. It took place at 7 p.m. last night, but the horror is very, very far from over, unfortunately, viewer. And this aerial view fully captures the scale of this tragedy. These images are from earlier today, when rescue and relief operations were at their peak. All humans have been removed from the site, and officials from the NDRF and other agencies are now working to restore these train tracks. India salutes them, and this tragedy continues to unfold. 280 dead and counting. Our coverage continues after this break.
Pranav Salkar saw his mother struggle to get water after coming back from work every day. The nearest source of water was half a kilometer away. Pained by this sight, the 14-year-old took matters into his own hands. He started digging a well, and in 4 days, he struck gold.
त्याला मी एक सूचना दिली होती का इथे कोण थोडंसं पाणी लागतो का आपण बघूया. नंतर आम्ही मग कामावर जायची सुरुवात केली. मग त्यांनी मनापासून सुरुवात केली खोदायला. त्याच्याकरता त्यांनी खोदता 3-4 दिवस त्यांनी लावले आणि पाणी लागलं.
Pranav's parents speak fondly of their son's efforts. They recount how he had made a ladder to dig out soil from the pit.
आम्ही मजुरी करतो आणि संध्याकाळी येतो काम करून. मग मला त्रास होतो म्हणून माझ्या मुलाने विहीर खोदली 4 दिवसात. मला आनंद वाटतो.
पाणी तुम्ही वापरता ना?
त्या पाणी आम्ही वापरतो.
Kelve village in Palghar gets piped water thrice a week. To Pranav's parents, who work as laborers, the well is a relief. And it goes without saying, Pranav is now a hero in his village. Bureau Report, India Today.
Rahul Srivastava has been waiting very patiently. Rahul, weigh in on Rahul Gandhi calling the Indian Union Muslim League completely secular party, and Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur saying Desi